out here over the past few minutes, and the Sumter-Lee County line, watch that there. See how it loops like that. See, so it's not getting too terribly close to Dooley County, which is technically in the 13 WMAZ area, but we know we have a lot of viewers in Crisp County as well. But this headed in the general direction of Lake Blackshear, and it's moving relatively slowly. Ben, the last I saw from the Weather Service was the movement on it at, let's see, I believe
like
it's 15.
Something?
Yeah, let me just, yeah. Well, so it's east at 30 now. So it looks like they have up to that a little bit. So if we track this east at 30, that brings it in the Lake Blackshear neighborhood about 344, Rains about 348, over towards Coney 349. And again, those are in Crisp County there, and that's moving closer to the interstate. And as of now, parts of western Crisp County, southwestern Dooley County, and southeastern Sumter counties, they are in the severe thunderstorm warning that has the tornado possible tag on it. You can see that there, Crisp, Dooley, and Sumter until 345. The tornado warning for Lee County goes for the next 6 minutes here. So we're going to keep an eye on this storm. This is the only storm that has rotation strong enough right now in the state of Georgia, actually across the whole country, to prompt a tornado warning. There's only tornado warning in the area, but if you notice down to the south, another severe thunderstorm warning in southern Georgia. And really quickly, what's going on up closer to Macon in central Georgia? We are seeing thunderstorms. If you're in Byron right now, you're hearing a lot of thunder. If you're in Perry, you're seeing dark clouds off to the west. Fort Valley, dark clouds off to the south. And maybe some small hail embedded in these. We were poking around a few minutes ago, and we're seeing some hail in the Byron area. It looks like just south of Dry Branch, just south of Irwinton there, in Wilkinson County. And this is, again, one of the threats that we have today for severe weather. So let's take a look at our severe weather impacts for today. You can see the timing started around 1-2-ish, and it's going to continue through the sunset hours tonight until about midnight. Now notice that the hail threat drops off as we lose the heating of the day, but the tornado threat looks like it could persist for a little bit longer. The tornado watch that we have in effect for all of central Georgia runs until 10 p.m. tonight, and then damaging winds until about that time. But Ben, we've been talking about these models. They have been all over the place in terms of what we're looking at, what we should expect through the evening tonight. And really, it's one of these situations where we need to evaluate what's going on in real time and figure out the dynamics of what we're working with and what makes sense for to happen next, and that's what we're going to be doing through the afternoon hours.
Yeah, there's just a lot of moving parts, like you said, with this whole thing. I mean, there's it's not a typical sort of setup for this time of year. I'd say probably yesterday was a little more of that. But a couple of things going on. Let's go back full here on Max 2. I got us back on the southeastern view. Notice we have the tornado watch, and then you have a severe thunderstorm watch back in Alabama. Now, the actual front is back here somewhere. So this is prefrontal thunderstorm stuff that formed along it and then took off. And then we're still seeing some more storms back here. So what will happen is, with the heat of the day, storms fire along the front. The front's not moving that fast, but the storms start to just giddy up and take away. And then the next line starts to form here. So all this to say that we won't clear this whole potential out until we get that front in. This in northwest Alabama right now. That'll come in later on tonight. So what I'm trying to say is, in the short term in the afternoon, probably dealing with more of gusty winds, hail. Can't rule out some isolated brief spin-ups out there. But then later tonight, depending on how the atmosphere responds to all this rain that we see in the afternoon and evening hours, we could still see some stuff, maybe severe, as that front comes through late tonight. Let me show you what I'm talking about on future view here. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to let you know, our friend Chris Stoner from Houston County, he's the EMA director down there. We are getting reports now of significant hail between Byron and Centerville, and I punched that up behind me here.
Yeah,
it's a very confined area here. It's just south of Byron, so this is going to be probably along 75 right now.
Yeah.
There's 96 there and 41. So this would be moving into the Centerville area and eventually towards Warner Robins.
And probably is, because sometimes that hail signature is lagged behind.
Yeah, in fact, I flip it over to the reflectivity here.
I think it's probably more in Centerville or north now, because it's usually more scans behind than the actual radar for whatever reason. But that's a new tornado warning for Crisp County, it looks like.
Yeah, Crisp and Sumter. So yeah, this was the storm we were just talking about with Lake Blackshear.
Yeah, all right, so it almost looks like a right turner.
It does.
Because now it is kind of moving more east into Crisp as opposed to going more northeast with Dooley and Crisp being in that warning. So let's see, that is on, I've got that on SatRad. I'm going to bring it back in. All right, so what we're going to do here is zoom in. If you're watching us in Crisp County, Cordele area, let's see, what do we have there? Again, it looks broad from this vantage point, but you're also far away from the radar. This is in between radars out here, so sometimes kind of hard to get a good read on it. Let's see if I can move over. Sometimes you can move and grab another one. It's not grabbing it. Thought I had, yeah, there's Valdosta maybe. Or is that us still? Okay, there. So yeah, we're seeing some rotation in there. It looks broad. We're shooting way up into the thunderstorm this far away from the radar. But the movement is, would it change to due east now? Let me see.
Yes, I believe so. And just for everybody at home, so you know, I just measured it here on my computer over here. We're looking at about 5.3 thousand feet in the air here. Yeah. So we're not looking directly at the surface there, because the way the radar works is it's in Jeffersonville and it's on a big pole and it shoots straight out. But of course the Earth curves as you go further out. So we are looking a little bit higher in the storm than, say, if it were in Wilkinson County or Bibb County, because that's closer to the radar site. So while we have a pretty good idea of what's going on, this is 5,000 feet in the air. It's almost a mile above the surface. So we're kind of in a dead zone there from a mile down. And that's part of the reason why I think we're a little more less hesitant with these warnings in areas like Lake Blackshear, because we just don't know what's going on down at the surface. And that's, again, 5.3 thousand feet. That's 70 miles from the radar site there in Twiggs County.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't have a radar in every place, so you just kind of have to try to figure it out in between. I switched over from storm relative to base velocity. You can kind of see the dimple here, and then there's another one as you go back north of Dawson. Now, this is outside of our area, but we're watching it because it's generally moving in this direction. So our southern counties, we're keeping an eye on that. Now, if you're watching us again and you haven't heard us talking about your area, it is because it's not severe. So we are definitely well aware that there are thunderstorms in other parts of our area. But once again, let's take a look at this stuff out here. If you're in South Bibb, anywhere from Warner Robins on down, we talked about the hail threat that is moving through kind of on the Bibb-Houston line coming across here. Not as large a hail as what we could see today, but there has been some of that. Peach County coming on in. Matter of fact, we could probably pull the Perry Skycam up, and that might look interesting. Maybe the flags are waving and all that too. Of course, we may not be able to see much of it because by the time you start to, look northwest, the building may shield you.
So this is Macon. This is looking south, and Ben, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning behind you.
Oh, well, it did just pop up right there. So we were talking about, we will talk about you if there's something to talk about, and that is Wilkinson going into Washington County. What's the wording on that one?
So that is golf ball sized hail, 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and it is
thunderstorm damage threat considerable.
East at 25.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to move us over. There's the ding for it. So if you're in Wilkinson and Washington counties, there's the hail threat right there. So you're talking in the yellow, just outside of Irwinton, maybe 1 inch in diameter with some of that. Let me show you something else too. When we get into these kind of storms, I like to turn on the hail tracks. It kind of shows you where the storms have been instead of just looking at little bitty blobs. Let me see if I can get it to pull up for you here. This monitor is about the size of a cell phone. So let's see. Okay. So watch this as if we can kind of go backwards and forwards, and you can see how these have been moving and how they're growing. The one that's here in Wilkinson into Washington again. So severe weather going on here. 60-mile-per-hour winds, I think, is what they said in that one. And I'm seeing at least 1 inch in diameter hail with that one. So again, that is Wilkinson, Washington, in addition to the tornado warning that we have in Crisp County. Severe thunderstorm warning still in Dooley County right here. And again, what looks like broad rotation from this far away, but it is because it is this far away. When we go over to velocity mode here, that you can see kind of moving more in toward Crisp County here. The other storms that we have are not severe. All the other stuff for now are staying in check. And we've been checking not just for hail and these other storms, but we've been going around the horn looking at velocity mode, looking to see if any of these others have been rotating, and we don't see anything like that.
No, Ben, but we got a shot here out of Perry, and this is looking south. So this is looking into a storm that's not warned, but just in my 30 seconds to a minute watching it, it's quite the lightning show going on down there. And so this would be looking into northern Dooley County there. And it's an interesting cloud formation there. I was looking at it on radar. I don't think there's anything to be too concerned about from a tornadic standpoint, but one of these strengthening storms as we head through the afternoon, and this would be moving in towards the southern Houston County area over the next few minutes, and then northern Dooley County. So it looks like the heaviest part of this would be north of Unadilla, and if I flip it over to the radar here, I actually would not be surprised.
Oh, what do we have now? That's a new severe thunderstorm warning. Nope. I thought that was what I saw. Or is that just an additional ding?
Continues tornado warning for Crisp and Sumter.
By the way, that's an odd-looking polygon for Wilkinson into Washington.
It really is.
I mean, it kind of notches down and back over again. It's a weird jog.
Yes. And, you know, I wonder if they drew it for these two storms here. If they drew it for storm number 1 and then storm number 2 here, Ben, and encompassed both of those, because
I think you're right. Yep.
This first storm would go on a trajectory towards Sandersville. The second storm would be, you know, central to southern Washington County.
They just did a BOGO on warnings is what they did right there. So,
and a new
there's the new one.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is for, this is going to be Peach, Houston, South Bibb, Twiggs County. So right through the core of our area now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. And this is, I don't see tornado mentioned because I didn't see anything in there anyway. This is kind of what we've been talking about. Ooh. 1.25 inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It is moving. And this is one that I'm going to have to click on it to see.
East at 25.
East at 25. There it is right there. All right, so let's take a look at there's the hail with that one. That one just really blew up. So you can see that the one that we were talking about earlier coming through Centerville, but now this thing is really ratcheted up here. So if you had plans to drive down 75 between Byron and Perry right now, not a good idea, because some healthy size hailstones coming down that can do some damage to a windshield right there and cause some traffic problems. So if you don't need to be driving on 75 right now, don't do that. And these could get bigger.
Yeah, and you know, like we were just talking about, we're looking at that hail size map, but that takes a minute for that algorithm to work and produce the map. So what we're actually looking at is the hail a little bit ahead of where you're looking. And if you're looking at it here on radar, some of the heaviest stuff is crossing Interstate 75 right now. This would be Housers Mill Road. I don't know which one it is. And then the Buc-ee's area, south of 96.
Housers Mill.
Housers Mill, yeah. And then south into Houston County. So between the fairgrounds and Byron is where the heaviest hail core is crossing 75. This puts it into an area in the next few minutes that was hit hard yesterday. This puts it south of Warner Robins, north of Bon Air, somewhere near the base over the next few minutes. And if we draw the track on this east at 75, in fact, Ben, now that I'm looking at this warning, it looks like they did another BOGO warning. They got this storm here on the Bibb Houston County line moving into Twiggs, and then this storm here. So let's draw two separate tracks.
You'll buy one, get one.
Yes. So here we go at 30. This puts it in Bon Air at 344. So I know cleanup going on in Bon Air today. Got a storm with a lot of hail headed its way. I don't know what my computer did there. Over the next few minutes. Let me see if I can zoom it back down in here. And then another one that is right along.
The airport is probably going to actually register some rain today.
Yes,
I do believe so.
Unless the sensor is on the north side.
Yeah, right. I was thinking that too.
But nonetheless, you look at that hail core. That's produced some hail near Centerville. And let me throw a query on this, because this is Peach County. That's 1 inch in diameter, and we've seen higher hail sizes today already, especially down to the south. In fact, we head down towards Lake Blackshear. You look at that, some hail coming across the lake right now. Ben, I hear a lot of dinging. Is any of that?
Yeah, what it is Peachtree City saying any hail or other reports are pretty bad, but due to the expanding coverage and number of storms, we are transitioning to issuing severe warnings only. No more significant weather advisories. Of course, we don't usually mention those much anyway. So they're kind of they're in warning mode for just going bump, 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 one after another. Let's see, dime-size hail vicinity, Forest Lake Drive and Avalon Drive in Warner Robins. That has been in from a ham radio operator there. Other than that, there's some damage reports coming in from yesterday, but nothing yet. As far as that storm down in, it's kind of right on the Lee-Sumter County line, and it is moving kind of at a snail's pace here, but this is going toward Crisp County, and you can almost see a little bit of rotation back behind it too. Now, this really makes sense if you look at the overall setup. Let me take you back to it. And it's not too surprising sometimes that on the southern ones, or as I call them, kind of the bottom feeders with all the, the food coming in from the Gulf and everything, that's usually sometimes where you're going to see some of the rotation. And as more and more of this comes in, sometimes it can choke some of these out. We have so much energy in the atmosphere right now, though. There is no one winning over another. It is powder keg out there, so everything is really firing up. You can see storms back to Atlanta. Now, overall, this is good news that we only have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and that one tornado warning down in Crisp County. because the storms are up and running now. So this kind of gives us a sense of how the afternoon is going to go. The good news is I'm looking at some of these and knock on sheetrock is that most of this, all of it that I see other than what is in Crisp County, I don't see any rotation in there. And of course that is our main concern, is seeing anything that would be tornadic, that would be rotating. And I don't see it with any of this stuff that is in Peach, Houston, Bibb, Twiggs, any of this Wilkinson, Washington County. You're going to have some strong winds. I mean, I'm not lying about that. Straight line winds, maybe 60 miles per hour, and some hail with some of this, but not on that level. What do you have?
So we now have a confirmed tornado in Crisp County, or moving in towards Crisp County. Tornado debris signature. What I was looking at here was velocity. Let me flip this over to correlation coefficient now. We were just talking with the National Weather Service.
I looked at CC a minute ago down there, and it's so I do see a little bit green in there.
Yeah, and I think what they are seeing is this right here, right near Lake Blackshear, because that would line up with the rotation there, and then that would be pulling this towards Cordele.
Yeah, so there's some sort of debris lofted in the atmosphere there.
Yeah.
It is really hard to see those when you get out on the fringe like that, but that one is showing up enough that you can see it.
Yeah,
we had some debris signatures yesterday, that's for sure. Let's see.
That's them confirming the warning there.
Oh, the tornado in Crisp County. Okay. Yep. So let's go back to the hail map. Again, that's one of the big stories of today. Obviously, we have hail, or rather large hail core, coming into Crisp County here. Lake Blackshear under the gun right now. So with the tornado warning, and then, of course, the hail that could be over an inch in diameter. There's that. But then more on up as we get into, let me back this up. If anything, and we will see this today, fluctuation in storm intensity, where the storms will get up. Notice how the hail core is up right there. Next scan, they start to drop down. So they may not stay up and running long, and then they'll kind of collapse, and another one will form near that. This one that's in Wilkinson County is starting to blossom. You can see the hail core there, again, go onto the scale, and you're talking about at least an inch in diameter with those hailstones. And when we put on the hail tracks, we can get an idea, once again, of where these storms have been, where they're headed, and where the growth is happening here. So as we go back and forward like that. Do you have something, Alex, or you just...
I was just looking at the hail almost covering up Peach County.
Yeah, oh, I know. That's, if you look at it with hail tracks, especially of what's been going on there should be a swath of hail reports. This is historical over the past 30, 40 minutes here. This is not all at one time. But I can take that off so you can see what is current. But you can see there has been a lot of hail coming from Fort Valley on across 75 right now. So we had that one shot that came across 75. This is probably already over 75. Judging by the delay that we normally see with that. Let's see. Let's go back to that. Yeah, because if you look at, boy, it's one of these days where you're going to almost have to turn the lightning off. To be able to see. I think it's a given that we have lightning out there.
Hey, Ben, really quick on this Crisp County storm, the velocity signature on this has tightened up. And now we're getting some of these blues in here. If I do some of this gate-to-gate shear on this, that would be, I need to turn off the warnings to do that.
Yeah, if you're going to ask it questions, you have
to. That's 106 miles an hour there.
That far out?
Yeah, so this is a mile up in the atmosphere. This is 106. And that's the other thing, we were just talking about the debris signature on the correlation coefficient. That's seeing debris now a mile above the surface, because that's the radar beam height as it travels out towards Crisp County. So
we have to only imagine what the surface is seeing.
Yeah, so let me flip this back over to see. Oh, yeah, that's a very defined signature there. That is coming very close to Lake Blackshear. And Ben, I know we have a lot of viewers in the Cordele area, but Cordele technically, we have these lines that we have market areas. Cordele technically belongs, and Crisp County belongs to Albany, but we still cover them there. This is headed across the Crisp County line right now between Lake Blackshear and Cordele. So if you're listening to my voice in those areas, if you're right along 280, if you are to the west of 41 in Crisp County, that's a tornado debris signature right there coming really over Lake Blackshear towards 280 in Crisp County. And if you are in Cordele, a good idea to be headed to your tornado safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Most interior room, away from doors and windows, things like that. But there's the debris signature, and that lines up with the velocity there. And that makes sense because the storm would ingest it up and then push it that way, which is why the debris signature is a little further north and east than the rotation is showing. But Ben, that looks like another new scan right there, and it looks like it has not weakened any. And at Lake Blackshear, just so everyone knows, it's not just where that label is. It runs north to south right there, right along the Sumter-Crisp County line. So even though it says Lake Blackshear right there, the lake itself is fairly elongated and is headed in that general direction right now.
Yeah, so if you know anybody that's there, call them.
Yeah.
If they're not paying attention to this, and tell them, hey, it's a warm day, I've been out on the lake.
Exactly.
You need to get on in. Hopefully they have time to do that at this point. All right, so let's go on back up to the other stuff in Warner Robins right now. A lightning show for sure. Ooh. So let's just stay away from windows. Let's use some common sense on this. The lightning is big. We also have the hail thing going on, maybe an inch in diameter or greater. With some of that, this is Wilkinson going into Washington, where we're seeing hail in both of these, especially this one right here, just passing Irwinton. Good news, though, on all of this I've been looking, and I don't see any rotation. So if we can take something good from this, I don't see anything tornadic in any of this.
Yeah, so Ben, this tornado warning down in Crisp County is now a PDS tornado warning.
Oh, no.
This is a radar-confirmed tornado, but the wording from the National Weather Service, a particularly dangerous situation located over Georgia Veterans Memorial State Park, or near Cordele, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So we have these different warnings. We have tornado warnings. Then the next level up is a PDS tornado warning, which is what this is now. There is one more level. We're not going to get into that, but this is what the National Weather Service is describing as a particularly dangerous situation. Damaging tornado, in the words from the Weather Service, flying debris might catch those without shelter. Mobile homes, not a great place to be right now. Find a sturdy structure, anything that has four walls and a foundation. And vehicle, not the place to be in this kind of situation, because this is now what the Weather Service is calling a particularly dangerous situation for Lake Blackshear over the next few minutes. And so we're going to keep an eye on this. This is moving into Crisp County towards Lake Blackshear. This is moving towards Cordele. Cordele is in this tornado warning. If you can hear my voice and you are between Lake Blackshear and Cordele in Crisp County, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place. So here is Coney, 280. Let's get some more roads in here. I'm not sure if they're going to populate in Crisp County, but there's the intersection of 230 and 280. This is 280 going over to 41 in Cordele. This is a PDS tornado warning now that is going to be moving into the Lake Blackshear area. And if I flip this back over to correlation coefficient, you're going to see a very defined debris signature right there that is moving over the lake. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off for a second so that you can see the whole lake right here runs from the Crisp County line, Crisp Dooley down in towards Rains and southern Crisp County. This is going to be crossing south of where 280 crosses the lake into Crisp County. So if you are north of 280 along Lake Blackshear, you're fine. This is passing to the south of you. But if you are south of 280 on Lake Blackshear, this is in your neighborhood right now. And if you are in Crisp County along 280, you need to be headed to your tornado safe place, because this is a very well-defined signature a mile up in the atmosphere. We're not looking at the surface, so sometimes we get these tornadoes that are weak and they just throw up a little bit of debris and you just catch a quick glimpse. This is a signature that has been going now for a few minutes and is tightly correlated with a strong rotation signature right there crossing Lake Blackshear just south of where 280 crosses the lake. Yes. All right, so we're going to join 13 WMAZ right now.
Okay, folks, we are joining you in progress with severe weather coverage that has been going on all of our streaming platforms, our app, website, YouTube, Facebook Live, all of that, and we're still going to be going with that. But we're dipping in here at halftime to show you what's going on. We have wording that you don't hear very often here, a PDS, particularly dangerous situation tornado for Crisp County here. So if you know anyone that is in the Lake Blackshear area, maybe they're enjoying a beautiful day, there's been sunshine, oh, it's a great day for the lake. This tornado that is no doubt on the ground is one that is not just a normal tornado. It's particularly strong, and we have been seeing debris signature stuff with that. As we look at this yesterday, if you were paying attention, debris lofted into the atmosphere. You can see some of that right here coming across into Crisp County, Cordele over here. And this is moving, what was it, Alex, a little bit northeast, maybe at around
30
miles an hour. So it may go by Cordele, but we want to tell you and real quick, and we'll come back to that. I just want to touch on the whole area here just for a second. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Peach, Houston, South Bibb, Twiggs County, also Wilkinson and Washington. But I want to go ahead and let you know at the outset that I do not see anything other than what is going on in Crisp County. None of this is rotating. So I don't see tornado stuff and any of this other stuff. Lightning, thunder, heavy rain, gusty winds, hail, all of that. But as far as anything that would have a tornado in it, I don't see any of that. It is only this in Crisp County. Now, Alex, you had something you were going to add to that one, I think? Or?
Yeah, Ben, we were just talking about Crisp County. If you've been watching on our feed on 13WMAZ.com, you've been talking or hearing us talk about the height of the debris, just getting word from the National Weather Service that this debris is now 15,000 feet in the air. So we've been looking at about 5,000 feet, which is about as low as we can go near Lake Blackshear, but this is going up even further than that. And if you are in Cordele right now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place, away from doors and windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This thing is coming across Lake Blackshear right now. It has a history of producing damage. The National Weather Service calling this a particularly dangerous situation and noting that the CC values, which is what we use to look at debris, went up as the tornado moved over Lake Blackshear. So it does look like Lake Blackshear is was in the path of what we believe to be a tornado right now. And this is moving towards the Cordele area. So
it is a right turner, by the way. I'm looking at it on another source. It is turning more toward Cordele.
Yeah. So let's track this and let's allot for that right turn and draw this a little bigger. And if it's moving at 30, this puts it in Cordele just after 4. This is 4:04, puts it in Coney. If you're in Coney right now, you need to be in your tornado safe place, 3:52, and then Listonia, 4:18. I believe that is in western Crisp County. And then, just thinking further down the line, this has been going for a few minutes. So, an early heads up for Wilcox County. Just be thinking about this, be watching this, because this is to your west. As Ben was saying, this is a right turner, meaning it's moving more easterly than northerly, which is putting it towards the Cordele area. And man, that velocity signature is just not relenting.
It's almost making a U shape to where it may even thread between Cordele and Araby there, where kind of a Winona thing, or maybe Cordele proper. I'm not sure. I'm looking at another source here, which shows it turning right and then almost east, not quite southeast, but definitely at least due east.
Yeah. Here, Ben, this is the velocity loop there. So here's where the warning was issued, and there it is coming across Lake Blackshear. And it looks like they just updated that warning. Let's see. So they're saying moving east along McKinney Road in far west Crisp County. And I tried zooming in. We don't have street level views in Crisp County because technically it's outside of our DMA. So if I zoom in like this, I can't show you streets. But the National Weather Service saying McKinney Road. But you know what? If I do come over here, I can give you some streets. I can't show them to you, but I can read them off. And I want to do that because this is not a great situation. So Coney Road South, Ferry Landing Road along U.S. Highway 280, Crossroad Store Road, need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Slade Road near Will Grove Church. McKinney Road, that's what the National Weather Service was just saying. So McKinney Road between 300 and Coney Road, right along Georgia 300. So that's to the south there. This should say north of the Georgia-Florida Parkway. This would be Old Albany Road out of Cordele. Need to be in your tornado safe place. And along 280, this is Rowland Road. There's a store named Rowland Pecan. Gum Creek Church. Need to be in your tornado safe place. And really, I mean, it looks like just from this map I'm looking at here, Crossroad Store Road is the next road in line after McKinney Road for this circulation to cross.
And let's also point out, too, we always try to look ahead to things. I mean, this warning goes until 4. I have to imagine, unless this thing weakens down, which I don't see it happening right now, that there's going to be a new warning issued within 8 minutes that will include the remaining parts of Crisp County. Also, we have to look toward the east to Wilcox County, if that does hold together. And you can see on even Alex's map, you can see the hook on reflectivity very clearly. right there already over Lake Blackshear. And again, it's moving toward Cordele. So anywhere between Blackshear and Cordele, you know where you are. If you're watching from that area, please just get down, centermost room, all the things you practiced. The debris signature is there, all that jazz. Now the hope with some of this is, and there's been talk today, that debris signature not quite as noticeable, is that hopefully these things will be brief. So far it has not been brief, but the kind of difference between today and yesterday. Now yesterday I would say they were brief in that they touch down and they pop back up, touch down, pop back up. These should be storms that at times will fluctuate in intensity and may even collapse if the conditions are right, to where then that storm is gone and then you'll just look at another one that's next to it. Almost in a summertime fashion. That one hasn't done that yet, but at least the debris signature is gone, so maybe it has at least pulled back up off the surface. But let's at least definitely not let the guard down. So we're going to see what Peachtree City is going to do with this one here in a second. Again, the big map, we'll go over to Max 2. I want to show you this just to see how everything is blossoming this afternoon. You can see things just taking off just like this, and most all of this. So if you're in any of these spots, and I get it, after yesterday, and then everybody's just like on edge, like let's not go through this again. This is not the same thing as it was yesterday. So these are mainly garden variety thunderstorms, what you would be used to kind of in the summertime. All right, so lightning, thunder, gusty winds, some hail with some of this as well. And I keep scouring, looking through here, and I don't see anything rotating in any of this. So hopefully that doesn't change, but for right now, that's good news. We do have a tornado watch, but the only rotation we're seeing is that one in Crisp County. So I know if you have kids and they're freaking out and all that sort of thing and everything, at least that's some good news for right now. I'm not saying it's not going to make some noise. It is definitely making a racket in Houston, South Bibb, getting into Twiggs County here, but it is straight line winds and maybe some hail with that. Again, nothing spinning. Let me show you just to make sure you can see. We don't stop looking for those things, all right? So we can see the wind. You can definitely see that in South Bibb, Warner Robins to Bon Air. Unfortunately, some folks doing some cleanup there. You may, I'm sure, have already gone indoors to not do that for right now. And then breezy stuff as you go through Wilkinson into Washington County right there. Now, while we're in on that view, let's take a look at the hail cores. And this is one of the big problems with these storms today. Right on the Bibb-Houston line, you're looking at on the scale here, 1 inch to 1.25 inch diameter hail. Probably seeing some hail close to that, maybe 3/4 in Warner Robins to Bon Air. And then we're seeing 3/4 maybe to 1 inch at times fluctuating. Wilkinson going over into Washington County. And then we're seeing some little hail here right on the Washington-Johnson line. So that kind of stuff is what we're seeing today for the most part. Again, if you look back as we zoom the map out to where we have had hail, and let me take you to the hail tracks. Again, this shows you where the storms have been. I can back it up. You can see when things got started in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm going forward now, and you can see how things have been blowing up. Also, watch the bottom left of your screen coming toward Cordele. Watch that storm go from northeast, turning right, right there, heading into Cordele. So that's the one where the tornado warning is. And I know when you look outside and you're hearing all this, you think all thunderstorms are created equal. They're the same thing as what's going on there. That is not the case. Again, we keep looking for rotation and not seeing anything rotating with these storms. I know Alex has been looking as well. Let's go back in on Cordele here just for a minute, see if this looks any better, any worse. It looks broader to me, Alex.
It does, but I want to draw your attention a little further to the west there, back behind Smithville.
So this another one.
That would be moving in the same general direction where this old rotation, or the current rotation, whatever you want to call it, was just over. So, you know, the Lake Blackshear, your warning ends at 4, but keep an eye to the west because we're watching this just south of Smithville, which if I put a brief lapse on this, let's do 15 minutes.
It's going to come in from outside of radar. Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very broad. In fact, it looks like this one now, almost to an extent, but moving in that general area. And this one started how this one looks now. All of them start this way. It starts broad and then it comes together. That's not to say it's a sure bet that we're going to get some tornado out of this particular circulation, but this severe thunderstorm warning does have that tornado possible tag on it.
Peachtree City rotation weakened, not seeing lowered CC or debris signature now. So the same thing you and I were just saying.
Yeah.
So what they have said is they're going to continue the tornado warning until 4, but there is no word on a reissuance of that. Now the Johnson-Wilkinson County part of, let's go, or see, we're on max 2 over here now, right? Okay, we got mine. All right, so this part, Wilkinson County is out of the severe thunderstorm warning. They have trimmed that off, so this is Washington pretty much only. Sandersville, Tennell, this is all coming across here with some hail in it, some gusty winds. Once again, we don't see anything rotating with this. As we go on back over to the Houston County, Twiggs County storm, South Bibb, a ton of lightning with this, for sure. Definitely after yesterday too, it's probably kind of scary, this thing coming across, but it is not rotating, and that's important. Now, I don't want to downplay straight line winds. I mean, you still have that going on, but I think we would all agree that the big problem would be a tornado, and I do not see that in any of this stuff. So far, so good with all of this. So we have those severe thunderstorm warnings, and then that tornado warning is going to go for another less than 2 minutes in Crisp County, and we'll see what they do with that. Again, the rotation has been broadening out. Of course, it's still far away from the radar. But at the very least, I would think severe thunderstorm, tornado possible, maybe something to replace it.
Yeah, and that's what those two warnings are down to the south. In fact,
there's
it looks like
Sumter right outside of it.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet I can check over here. But let me show you this, Ben. If you want to check on that, I can show you Houston County right now. This is the view from Atrium Health Navicent. This is looking south into Houston County. We've seen quite the lightning show over the past few minutes. Again, this is looking south, so this will be looking toward Warner Robins and the Twiggs County area, and you can see the westward to eastward motion of these clouds, and you can just look at it and tell it's one of those days where there's a lot going on up there, and something we're going to be watching there. But let me hop back over to radar here. Maybe you could take max 1 full if y'all don't mind, and we can check in on this warning that we were just talking about with Ben. This is this new severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County, and it also has the tornado possible, or Sumter County. Let's see if I can get it to grab Sumter County. Sumter County. That one actually does not have the tornado possible tag on it, so that's interesting. Even though we are still seeing this rotation right here just south of Smithville. This would be right in, it looks like we're in the process of getting a new scan, which is why that line is right there. And it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning.
That's what we were thinking would replace it. Does it say tornado possible?
It does indeed. So Crisp, Dooley, Sumter, and Wilcox County. Threat tornado possible.
I like that better.
Yes. So we were talking about Cordeal just a minute ago, and the particularly dangerous situation wording that the National Weather Service used, and it does look like that has the rotation that prompted that has since weakened, but they're going to let that warning go at 4, and it's going to be replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning that now we're going to include Dooley County, Crisp County, Wilcox County. Crisp County obviously already in it, but threat tornado possible tagged on that, Ben.
Gotcha. Go to max 2, please. Collinsworth, the hail core has exploded in Houston County right here. Take a look at this. You can see easily going toward 1.5 inches in diameter, maybe more. Now, we mentioned today the possibility, I know it sounds nuts, of up to baseball size hail with some of this. So this is one of the main problems with these storms today, as opposed to being big tornado producers, thankfully. There's still a headache with these. It's all the lightning, the gusty winds, and the hail is a problem here. So this is not hail you want to be out in. This is not hail. Let me go get a video of this, because this can hurt if that hits you in the head right there, coming down at 1.5 inches in diameter there. So we're seeing pockets that are at least 1 inch to 1.25 inches, but that's the biggest one I've seen so far. Robins Air Force Base with that hail core. The one that's going from Wilkinson into Washington, which is probably already there because this has been canceled for severe thunderstorm warning. These hail signatures are delayed. I know we keep talking about that, but in case you're just joining us, that doesn't mean that's exactly where it is right now. It's probably more about here by the time that data comes in. Same thing from Warner Robins to Bon Air. Move this over to the east a little bit. I know it's like salt in the wound after Bon Air and all that yesterday to now have a hailstorm coming through.
Yeah, Ben, to that note, I zoomed in really tight here. This is right along 96, headed towards Bon Air, and
take max 1. You want to show that?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can pop up max 1 here. This is right along 96, and I want to point out, the neighborhood that sustained the damage yesterday, Satan's Landing, is right here.
It's coming right through. It's probably already over it.
Yeah. So this is the south end of the base right here. This is 129. Here comes Highway 96. Bon Air down here. So the heaviest hail core, if I flip this over to reflectivity now, actually it's going to be past that. It's going to be headed over the Ocmulgee River now.
It's lagging behind.
Yeah. So, now heads up along 23 in Twiggs County. This is headed to you next. This is coming across the Ocmulgee River. But still on the north end of 129, on the north end of the base where 247 comes across, looking at some higher reflectivity values, this coming across the base right now. and eventually into Twiggs County here in fairly short order.
I've been looking around too, just to keep people attuned, because I guarantee you a lot of the conversation.
They're going to reissue this warning down here.
They're going to go tornado warning in Crisp again?
Confirmation of tornado on camera on the ground, 358 Cordele Coney. Yes, reissuing warning. So we're going to get a tornado warning here for certainly Crisp County, but beyond that, remains unknown. Probably parts of Dooley and Wilcox, considering they're in the severe thunderstorm warning right now.
They may just change that severe thunderstorm to a tornado warning. I don't know if they can do it that way, but
there
it goes right there. So it kind of is almost laying in the same spot, but it's actually a little bit more east-northeast as opposed to that northeast polygon. There's a lot of lines on the screen right now, but the red one's the one you need to pay attention to. So if you are in Cordele crossing over 75 right now, no one needs to be on I-75 in Crisp County right now. If you've probably no doubt seen the video yesterday from Bryan County heading towards Savannah on the 16 where all the cars were stopped on the interstate and they just let that elephant go on across. Same kind of thing with this. Nobody needs to be on, is that just a re-ding?
That's that tornado warning.
Okay, all right. As this comes on across. Now again, we're looking at it and it looks like it's got a little bit of a dimple into it there. But we're shooting so high up, it is between radars. So by the time it gets all the way out to Cordele as the earth curves, we're seeing way up into the thunderstorm and we're not seeing what's going on at the surface. Let's see if while we're there, it's also far out too. The debris signature is hard to pick up. We did see it a little bit earlier over Lake Blackshear, but there's a lot of scattering going on out here on the periphery of the radar range. So, but at least from what they were saying, it was actually visibly verified, right? Let's see.
Yeah, observed. They have a video of it.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe that's something in our newsroom. If y'all could hop on the interwebs and see if you could find a video out of Cordele, maybe on Facebook and Twitter. Apparently one does exist. But, I do want to point out Cordele, this is just to the south of that area, but now including parts of Wilcox County. So in Wilcox County, western parts of Wilcox County, it's time to implement that tornado action plan inside, lowest floor, sturdy structure, away from doors as windows. Essentially the goal is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and it's in this red box right here. There's Cordele, and just over to Rochelle is where this warning is in effect. We're up in Taylor, Macon County, Houston County. You don't need to be doing that. It's just in this red box right here.
I'm looking at the tornado video right now, and it is pretty stunning.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe a note for some of our folks in the newsroom. There is a video. If we could maybe get that up so...
if anyone wants to walk into the studio, I can hand it to you and show you where it is, and you can go get it.
So we were at Cordele. Cordele is the story right now, or areas around Cordele in Crisp County. It's where this tornado warning is in effect, and I didn't even look to see how long it goes until, because it's right now 4:45 through Rochelle. And Ben, actually noticing this now, down near Arabi, notice it's trying to ingest a storm there, and see if it can swallow that up into the Crisp Cordele area.
Twitter.
Let's see. So there's the rotation there. It's in the Cordele area. If you are listening to us on I-75 and you are in Dooley County headed south into Crisp County, pull off the side of the road. Get off at the next exit. Do not go into Crisp County. If you are headed north on 75, you are in Crisp County and you are south of Cordele, don't go any further north. Let this thing pass. Like Ben was talking about, the rotation signature here, maybe if y'all could come out to me on camera so I could point this out. It's hard to decipher the exact location. We don't have the bright reds and the bright greens right next to each other, but we are looking about a mile up in the atmosphere, which would put it right over the Cordele area here. And this thing is moving towards the east at about 30 miles an hour. So let's draw a track on that. This is over Cordele now, moving east at 30. So Pena, about 415, Listonia, 420, and Pitts, which is in Wilcox County, about 433. This is the same storm that came across Lake Blackshear, and we do now have confirmation that it has produced a tornado. And Ben, it looks like we're getting a radar indication of tornado over southwest parts of Cordele right now. We're getting that from the Weather Service.
Yeah, and I've seen the video of it too. It's pretty stunning coming across a dirt road. We're going to try to get that up for you in just a little bit. Newsroom's getting on that. Let me go back big picture with this here on Max 2 just to show you what we're dealing with today. It is just like an army of thunderstorms. It looks totally different than yesterday when we had the line of storms charging across, and we kind of had a beginning and an end point with that. With these, it's kind of summertime on steroids here is what this is. So these things are popping up with the heat, humidity of the day. We have plenty of that. We have 80s out there with dew points well into the 70s. We actually have a heat index in some spots of 90 degrees. So it is very much kind of like a summertime environment, with the exception of there is some rotation in some of these. I've just been looking in all of these, though, once again, scanning around, and I don't see anything rotating with any of these. So I know everybody be sitting in their spots. What about Crawford? What about Taylor? What about Upson? All these spots and everything. They're just garden variety, regular thunderstorms for right now. They're missing some hail producers. This one here in North Houston's no joke. It's putting down 1.5 inch diameter hailstones in some of the same spots that saw that damage yesterday, and that is going into Twiggs County. Hail producer going into Washington County. Not trying to shortchange that part. Also, other differences from yesterday. Notice how you'll have thunderstorms in one area, they'll kind of move across, and then you'll see a collapse in some spots. That's some good news with that some of these will get up and going, and then they'll kind of fizzle, and they get the downdraft coming out of them, and they'll collapse. We have not seen that happen yet with these, and probably won't, because there's nothing to cut off the float of these storms. The more and more we get more and more storms through the afternoon, hopefully it will work some of this over, especially once we get towards sunset, which is still a long way away.
And Ben, that tornado watch, in fact,
new severe thunderstorm
warning. So that includes North Macon. This is that storm in Crawford County headed towards Lizella. This is going to include West Bibb over towards Bass Road, that edge there. And this warning is going to be for 1.25 inch sized hail, so that's about $0.5 sized hail, winds of about 60 miles an hour. That's Bibb, Crawford, and Monroe until 5 o'clock. Also, a quick note:
not rotating. We want to point out too. It is not. There's no tornado in that.
Yeah, you can look at this here, and you can see no signs of circulation. Right. So that is a purely severe thunderstorm warning. But this down here in Cordele is our active tornado warning. Ben, I just shared that video on my social media channels. If you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, you can see that video there. I know our newsroom is working on getting that up on TV, but if you are anxious to see that, that is Crisp County. And like Ben was saying, it's crossing a dirt road. Pretty spectacular video there. That happened somewhere between Lake Blackshear and Cordele. We are hopeful to get an exact location on that, but that is very clearly a tornado on the ground there. Also, quickly to note, we did see a lot of hail in Houston County, starting to get some reports out of there. I
have lost the hail capability.
Hail capability. I have as well.
I'm not sure where that data has gone.
Let's see. It looks like it went out, because I can go back a little bit and get it.
Okay, well, maybe it'll come back in. If anyone in... Well, it looks like, is that now? That is now. Okay, so if you go back and go forward, you can grab it again. Yeah. But our IT people, keep an eye on that in case we're losing data on that. We may need to get in touch with the folks because we're going to have this hail data today.
Yeah, but dime-sized hail has been reported in Warner Robins. That was about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, let's go full max 1. And you can keep talking, Alex. I want them to see, though, what you're talking about. And you can see between Warner Robins and Bon Air. I really do think that is a true lag behind, though, because I think it may even be almost out of Houston County by now. But we were seeing a delay in this data for whatever reason. Yeah,
and Ben, on the reflectivity, you can kind of see the hail core here. That's on the north end of Robbins Base. Whenever you get these higher values, and that's not the right, I meant to grab this pointer here. This right here is what we believe to be the hail core, and that is what would have produced that dime-sized hail in Warner Robins. And it looks like...
Yeah, so it's way past Warner Robins to Bon Air.
Hey, Ben, let's slide back down to Cordele. The Weather Service pointing out a new circulation that's forming on the north side of Cordele.
I'm struggling to see it.
Let's see.
It's just so far out. You can go to base velocity and maybe pick it up a little better.
Yeah. I assume what they're talking about...
That little dimple to the west of Cordele?
Yeah, I assume they're talking about this because they say northwest of Cordele near Drayton Road and Mile Pond Road. So this would be, this area is in the tornado warning. And Ben, I'm thinking out loud here, I haven't seen this velocity signature update in a few minutes, or the velocity data. Let me look at another source here and see if we are lagging behind, because I think that might be a possibility here. Let's see.
Well, so at least reflectivity is current? Let me see. We're looking to see if we have somehow lost some connection with some of this.
411. It looks like, I wonder if the issues is with the actual radar, because I'm looking at this on radar scope bin, and I'm also looking at data from 354, and it is now 412.
Wait, on radar scope?
Yes.
I have current data.
Let's see.
I'm up to 411.
Let's restart it. Hey, I tell you all what, in the control room, let's send this over to Max 2, and I'm going to restart our software here on Max 1, and then we'll come back to Max 1 and restart the software on Max 2 to see if that can
it'll
help.
grab it again.
Yeah. Let's see if this will do the trick. Okay, so we are doing this now. So again, this tornado warning near Cordele, if you're in Cordele, tornado safe space, as we've been saying. Wilcox County also included in this warning, and far southern portions of Dooley County. So Unadilla not included in this. It's going to be just for far southern portions. And I'll tell you what, Ben, I do have Max 1 back up. So
Already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is the data current?
It is loading now. Let's see.
All right, so once again, while Alex is talking, just to show you again that everything else that we're seeing out there, and there's a lot of thunderstorm coverage on the map, is not tornadic. Again, we keep looking at it, and it just simply means that the only tornado situation that we have is what is in Crisp County right now. All of these other thunderstorms are not tornadoes.
Yeah.
These are severe thunderstorm warnings, a couple of them out there, but they are not rotating. That doesn't look all that impressive there, but
yeah, but I do think this is a different scan. I was just looking at it on the storm relative, and that looks far different from what it did just a moment ago.
yeah. All right, so did you just go out of Max and back in?
Yeah, I did. So we'll keep this on Max 1 for a second. Ben's going to do the same thing to his computer that I just did to mine that helped us out. But again, Cordele and this area here near Cordele, it looks like they just updated this warning. No, they updated another warning. Severe thunderstorm warning for Sumter. So that's just outside of our area. That's Americus there that they're talking about. But this is the Cordele area now. And again, so let's see if we can get some more streets in here, because this is about to cross 75, right where 257 parallels. This is going to be just north of the Cordele area. And I can get you some more specific roads here. If you are in Cordele and you are... Let's see if it wants to load here. Cemetery Road, Farmers Market Road, Tremont Road, Pena Road. Let's see what we've got in here. This is Saddle Creek Drive, Wanda Road, Hill Road, Oliver Court, Old Blackshear Road. This is going to be right in the vicinity of exit 104. There just to the north of the Crisp County Cordele Airport. Also exit 102, I believe.
Looks like our other severe thunderstorm warnings have dropped off with the exception of Crawford, Monroe, and Bibb.
Yes, they expired at 4:15, yeah.
All right, so the only severe thunderstorm warning outside of this Cordele situation is the one leaving Crawford, heading into southern Monroe, West Bibb. So you're talking about West Macon, North Macon, if it holds as severe. Some of these, though, could collapse at different times today, which would be a good thing. Again, looking at it with velocity, it looks like my data's back up as well. I don't see, well, I still don't have hail.
I don't as well.
No, you do.
Yeah, but so when I click on it the first time,
Oh, you have to go back to grab it.
You have to go back, and I don't know how far back I'm going in that sense.
Well, if anyone back in the control room area can find Brian, and we can get on the horn and ask to see about our hail data with IT on that, see why that is cutting out.
I can also check on this computer over here, Ben, check the VIL. Yeah, and it does look like there is some that we're not seeing on this computer. So yeah, if we could check in on that, that would be...
Well, that's one of the main features of these storms today is the hail.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Max 1 or 2, Collinsworth, just for a second, because the map will look so busy out there, but then...
There's a new warning.
What is that one? Okay. They just jump back on, it looks like it's Twiggs Wilkinson only maybe now.
Houston Twiggs, a little bit of Houston, but most of Houston is not in it.
Let me take the lightning off too.
Yeah.
I want to show you what this looks like without all that busy lightning so you can see with the rain. Sometimes it gets it's hard to figure out what's what out there. So,
but Ben, this severe thunderstorm warning does have a considerable tag on it for a damage threat. This is for hail almost 2 inches in diameter. This is winds at 60 miles an hour, and this warning is going to go until 5 o'clock. Again, this is mainly Twiggs and Wilkinson. I know some people in Houston County might be getting the alert because a very small part of Houston County is included in that. And let's see, let me drive this radar back up here, and you can kind of see Houston County. And again, the lightning, gosh, it essentially includes Robbins Air Force Base, and that's it for Houston County. This is going to be a Jeffersonville storm now, and I know we sustained some damage out in Jeffersonville yesterday.
Washington County again. That is
this one here.
Underneath Sandersville, Tinnell area. That is going to be...
Ooh, look at that feature there.
Yeah, let's check that. Looked kind of like it had a little bit of a hook to it, but
yeah. The whatever velocity signature that was, which was not impressive at all, isn't co-located with the
hook
storm. So yeah, I wouldn't be.
All right. So these are, again, once again, I can't drive it home enough, especially after yesterday. If anything you hear from us today is that we're trying to find the good news part of all this stuff, and all of this that you're seeing on your screen right now, none of this is tornado stuff, okay? The only tornado warning is down in Crisp County, and we're following that very closely. But for all of the core of central Georgia, these are, for the most part, normal thunderstorms. That a couple of them are a little bit stronger with wind and hail, and I have zoomed in on those three. And again, if you are in Crawford County, southern Monroe, here getting into Lake Tobosoffke again, heading in toward Macon, West Macon, North Macon, for the most part, this is going to be one if you just stay away from the windows, hang out, do what you're going to do inside. The wind, and if there's maybe there's a little bit of hail that comes through with that as well, we'll just get it on through there. Again, I'm not seeing anything rotate with any of these. So if, especially given yesterday, and then we've had some schools that have let out early today, I want to drive home that these are not tornadoes. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, which are still not good, but it's not at least rotating there.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, just to jump in with an update on Cordele, the National Weather Service has just confirmed a confirmed tornado is over Cordele, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So that's that rotation right there. In the video we saw, this kind of makes sense in the sense that we're still looking probably a little less than a mile up now, and then that tornado was very thin. So we're not going to see the very tight rotation at the surface this far away, and it looks like we just took a power hit.
Yeah, we did.
At 13. But a confirmed tornado over Cordele now, and Ben, a new tornado watch was just issued.
I saw that for East Georgia.
Yes.
That's outside of our area. That's more Valdosta, Savannah, into South Carolina.
Let's see. Yeah, so let me send this back over to you, and maybe I can punch up the tornado watch so we can see our area too, because we are all in a tornado watch, and let me see where this new one is.
Yeah, you can take me back over here, Collinsworth. Yeah, sorry for all the back and forth, but this is the big picture just to show you again. You can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings. There is the only tornado warning. This is a tornado watch. That means we're watching for the possibility of tornadoes, but we do not see any in here. This is another tornado watch, but that's going away from us. I wanted to show you back here in Alabama, severe thunderstorm watch, and the actual front is back here. That's what has to get through here before all this is over, and that is late tonight into the overnight. So let's do a little bit of, if you're probably sitting there going, good grief, how long does this go on? Well, the threat for today is a level 3 like yesterday, but that's where the similarities end. Otherwise, these storms are not the same kind of thing we saw yesterday. I'm going to show you a couple of, let's do the high-res model first, all right? So this one, I'm going to show you the same time frame. You can look at the timestamp at the top on the timeline. And it shows as we get on into 5, 6 o'clock, these things kind of gelling together and then maybe kind of rolling, and we'll still have to watch, especially some of the ones that are on the bottom. Maybe we'll see if some of those still want to rotate, basically kind of where they are in Crisp County now. The rest of them up on top are mainly just severe thunderstorm warning hail producers. This takes us into 11 o'clock, midnight tonight. We'll have to wait and see if this is actually still thunderstorms that are severe. There have been some disagreement going back and forth. Well, actually, we're agreeing, but we're all as far as confusion as to whether this stuff late tonight, even midnight to 3 in the morning, is that's just rain. Sometimes that high-res model can blow it up to look a little worse than this model. So here's a look at the graph, and it shows as we go into 7, 8 o'clock, all this stuff sort of gelling together and then kind of darting down toward the southeast. And this is past sunset now. And hopefully at that point, if this is the model I would like to be true, because then that means we have worked the atmosphere over, and then late tonight, nothing. So we would be basically done within the next 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours, and everything will start moving away east and southeast. And you can notice that's the effect of washing the atmosphere over, and then it cancels the rest of it out until that front comes through. So that's the one I'm wanting. And as far as the big picture now, let's see if it's even looking like it's still way too early for that sort of thing to happen. But to take that model visualization into effect here and kind of take all this, kind of gel it together, and then sort of slide it away like that, and it kind of scours the atmosphere out. Now we also still have all these storms back here. Some of these are going to remain below severe limits up in the Atlanta area here. And then, so sometimes again, we may have it working in our favor. That if we get all this through, get all the loud noise and the rain and kind of work a lot of this energy out of the atmosphere, and then get towards sunset when we start to bring these numbers down, maybe the instability will come down enough that we can start seeing this fade away. So go ahead, Alex.
Hey, I wanted to draw your attention, Ben, now to the crisp Dooley County line where this tornado warning is, right along Georgia 257 here. This is going to be just to the east of Interstate 75. It looks like this rotation signature is trying to cross into Dooley County there. This is what the National Weather Service is calling confirmed right now. And if I flip over to the correlation coefficient, there's only 1 pixel there that goes down, so I'm not sold on that being a debris signature. But if I flip it back over to the radar here, this little notch, a little concerning. So if you are in far southwestern, or southeastern rather, Dooley County, right along Georgia 237, this would be, let's see.
Hey, just real quick, Alex, they're going to need one of the maxes for our vendor to get into.
Yeah, so max 1, let's take, so that you can stay on max 2.
All right, so all right, let's take me over here, Collinsworth, then, so we can get our IT help on 2. We'll take 2. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. All right. Go max 1. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to catch you into the chat here. Let me get you back on something that you can see other than this. Yes, go ahead.
Ben, also, if you can drive that in toward Jeffersonville on the velocity signature.
Yeah, I saw that. There's some strong winds in there.
Yeah, Courtney was just texting me.
It's also getting pretty close to that radar site. I wonder.
Yeah, and you know what? That looks a little different there. I'm looking at this on our third-party platform, and there seems to be a bit of a rotation signature just to the east of Warner Robins in Twiggs County that would be associated with this storm.
I see that too, but I can't tell if that's really what that is.
Yeah, let's see. I'll put that in motion. Yeah. Let's see.
We're starting to see a gap between 2. Let me show you this. If you look at I'm going to take the lightning off here and look on the big picture. Seeing kind of a gap here between this part and this part. This is all kind of starting to gel together, and this is doing its own thing down here. And we're seeing this either move up toward the north or just fall apart here from Perry on down to Cordele there. So we'll see how this morphs. It kind of has that shape that the graph model was showing, where everything starts to kind of gel together and then gets that movement as a group to eventually move on out. But you can see no shortage of just thunderstorms. When I say just thunderstorms, just regular old thunderstorms. The vast majority of this is just regular thunderstorm stuff. Where you see these yellow polygons, that is leaving Crawford, that's going into West Bibb, North Macon here. Eventually, a lot of heavy rain. There's going to be some thunder out there, maybe some gusty winds. You may hear some hail hitting a little bit, but it is not rotating, and that is important. That we see that, again, we talked about how these storms would be different. Doesn't mean that we can't see a tornado out there. We're seeing it in Crisp County. But these storms, once again, are not rotating. You know, you've seen the look. If you watched yesterday, you have the red and green couplets right next to each other spinning. That's not what we're seeing with these. These colors that you are seeing are showing you where the wind is, but it's all, there's nothing changing position, changing direction or anything like that. So that's good news with that, and we hope that it stays that way. Again, it is a different story when you get down into Crisp County there with that. So the tornado watch goes, and again, this is kind of key, even though there's been some discussion back and forth about this for later on tonight, because we're trying to figure out when does this end. Is this something that gets on through over the next few hours and then we're done, or is there still something with the front late tonight coming on across, maybe a cell or two to still work with here? The watch goes until 10 o'clock. So unless there's another watch issued after that, you would think at least by then we're done with this. But I'm just interested to see as we go through the coming hours, continue to work this over. The more and more we keep seeing these storms and rain and filling in and really eating all that instability that's out there. And as we get on in towards sunset and get some of this, let's see, as a matter of fact, do we have any, I hear the rain coming down on the roof here now. Let's see if we have, and see the clouds have really taken over. If you remember a little bit earlier, I was driving in, I was like, oh man. You can see the sun poking through. That's not a good thing. It's really just boiling things up. Clouds, the blow-off tops of these thunderstorms have really started to gather together. And hopefully eventually, you know, we'll see how this, let me put a stop on this and just show you. Let's take a look at some of the numbers out there. And we're still pretty warm, but you're seeing some rain-cooled air, all right? So 67 in Macon, 68 Warner Robins, still 80 in Forsyth. That's pretty much untouched. Taylor, 81, same thing. Look at McRae sitting at 85. Where it has not rained, it is still very warm, but if we can keep moving these parts around and kind of get all this stuff kind of milled over and cooled down, that'd be a good thing. Of course, we still got a ways to go to get on into to sunset for that. So that's just a look at how the environment that we're dealing with is doing out there.
Ben, just another anecdote. Getting more video out of Chris County earlier. That tornado warning still in effect down there, and it does look like the rotation signature, or like what's left of it, is now in parts of southern Dooley County.
All right, stand by. I'm trying to get over to it. Let's see. All right. No, I don't even see it.
Yeah, it would have been.
I can see it maybe a little bit on base.
Right there along
there, and then there's there.
Yeah, I believe that northern one was the one we've been watching for a while, and that's
the old one.
Is, yeah.
And then you still have this back here on the Lee Sumter line, but there's nothing. Again, it's in between radars. It's kind of in no man's land way out there.
Yeah.
I don't mean that if you live there. I mean as far as like radars trying to find it. Let's go back up and check again, because that's one of the main concerns, I'm sure, from a lot of people. Are we going to see tornadoes today? We are not seeing those right now. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, which is not good. It'll still get your attention, but there's nothing spinning in any of these. Having said that, we still have Crawford going into Bibb. Let's see how this looks on reflectivity without the 400,000 lightning strikes. See if I can take these off. And we can get an idea of where the rain is heaviest. You can see at Lake Tobosoffke, West Bibb, spreading down into Southwest Bibb. This will be crossing over 475. Again, mainly just rain and just some lightning and maybe a little bit of a gusty wind. We don't know the hail situation just yet because we're trying to get that back. I can look actually over here. Let me take a look at that and see if I can find it. It looks like there is some hail in there. I can't get a real smooth read on the size, but there is hail with this. Mm-hmm. And back in here. All right, so we're getting that we have some photos. Is that right? We're going to do a tag board with some hail pictures that have been coming in. Where is this? Warner Robins hail, about 10 minutes, I guess about 10 minutes of it, or either it was 10 minutes ago when they sent it. Charles Riley. Warner Robins looking at Air Park just north of Houston County High School in 96. Jason Ellingson, thanks for that. Those were pretty big ones. Houston Lake Road near Low Toyota and Warner Robins. And there's one that you're getting kind of quarter-size hail, Centerville, April, Flag. Thank you for that one. And there's some of your shelfies coming on through, maybe some scud clouds dragging around. That is not a funnel cloud or a tornado right there, but definitely some ominous skies that we see out there. And sometimes those things can trick you, especially on kind of weather we've been seeing here recently. And Ben, a quick note for our friends in the newsroom. I just sent an email. Looks like we have a video of the tornado passing to the north of the Walmart in Cordele. This would have been moments ago. That warning in effect for another 15 minutes down there. And the National Weather Service, I mean... the warning just dropped off. Okay. Yes, yeah, there it goes. All right, so that's good. So they canceled that. That was set to go until 4:45. So now we have no active tornado warnings. Well, that's good. That's great. Okay, so now, I'm glad to deliver that message to you that everything that you see here is tornado free. These are all thunderstorms that some of them have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, but the rest of them are all normal thunderstorms. You're going to get a lot of lightning. Just think of it as like all of a sudden we just fast forward into July and August. And we've got those thunderstorms that have put a ton of lightning out there. That's the majority of what this is that we're seeing this afternoon. Treat it as kind of a summer afternoon that's a little bit busier maybe than a normal summer afternoon, but that's basically what it is. And we're still going to be looking for anything that would be rotating. But again, notice how there's a gap forming right here as things are kind of starting to coagulate here together. And becoming what is going to be, we may end up with some flash flooding problems because we're going to be training over the same area with some of these storms with some pouring rain over and over in the same spots. So again, simple things, staying away from the windows, do something fun. You've got the kids, let them sit inside, play on the iPad, whatever it is, and just let this stuff move on through. We don't see anything rotating right now, and we hope it stays that way. And I know you're looking going, yeah, man, there's a tornado watch out there. That's just in case. That's the word, watch. We're watching for the possibility of it. A warning means it's happening, and we do not have any of those warnings right now. So again, keeping it smart, staying away from windows. Don't be outside if you don't have to with all this, and we'll eventually get it through. And we'll see how this plays out west with all this stuff coming in from Alabama. We still have to get the front through here. It's late tonight before we can call it all clear. I'm hopeful. What is he asking about? What is he talking about with the hail? This will eventually all roll away, and there won't be anything later on tonight.
Yeah, they're working on the hail right now.
Okay, yeah.
And it looks like Brian's saying that our vendor's having the same issue in-house, so it's not just us. So
they've lost connection with it,
yeah.
Period.
But what Brian was pointing out just a second ago, if we come over here and we select the hail color table. Whoa.
All right, so we're still on Max 2 over here, though. So just to show you, once again, we're just watching things for the potential for anything else crazy. But right now, great news to report that it is just, I know it sounds weird to say just severe thunderstorm warnings, but after the day yesterday, we will take just severe thunderstorm warnings.
And we're not going to let our guard down either, because this severe thunderstorm warning that is in Crisp, Dooley, Sumter, and Wilcox County does have the tornado possible tag on that bin.
Okay.
I think we have Larry Brown on the
Larry
phone.
Brown, Wilcox County EMA Director. Larry, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Hey, how are things going down there? It looks like so far, as I zoom in, looking at velocity, so far you guys have dodged a bullet. Have you seen anything? I mean, you're in Wilcox. Crisp is where we were seeing all the tornado stuff in the actual videos of that. What do you know down that way?
Right now, it's all been good. Fitz and Rochelle's been in touch with me and hadn't seen nothing other than, rain and hearing the thunder and the lightning.
Yeah, well, you definitely, even without the rotation in there, you still have, a healthy thunderstorm complex coming across with a pretty good bit of lightning, some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds, maybe some hail in there as well. But we're happy to report no tornado possible in there. Did y'all see anything yesterday out of that?
Yeah, we did. We had quite a few trees down. Had a couple of mobile homes knocked off the blocks and one mobile home destroyed. But it all looked like straight line winds.
Yeah, and normally the National Weather Service would be out today surveying these spots, but with all this other stuff going on today, it'll be tomorrow before they can start checking everything out. All right, so as we look on Max 2, just to show you where you are, what is heading your way is, again, just mainly a garden variety thunderstorm. It's got some more stuff with it. I mean, there's wind and there's some hail in there as well. But the threat originally, I guess it still does say tornado possible. Is this that original watch, or did they replace it with that?
That's the original
warning. They replaced it with that. So that's what's moving in your direction. So hopefully, Larry, unless something else changes, we won't be talking about tornado stuff for you for today. But thanks for checking in. Can we get back in touch with you later if we need to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Hey, Ben,
thank you.
A quick message to friends in the control room. It appears we've had a twin tornado in Cordele. We have pictures of two tornadoes at the same time. I just sent an email to it. If we could get that as soon as possible, because that's pretty rare. It looks like the two tornadoes were about 200 yards apart from one another.
Oh, those two signatures we saw.
Yeah, so Wyatt Robinson in our 13 WMAZ Weather Network caught it on camera. This was just beyond the William Pitts Oil Company in Cordele, just beyond the train tracks. I just sent that to our newsroom. Hopefully we could get that punched up pretty fast, because that's quite notable. And again, that warning has ended. That's no longer in effect, but this would have been probably about 30 minutes ago that we would have seen that kind of.
That's interesting. If that was the case, yeah, that is interesting. So going back to these 3 warnings that we have here for Crawford, Bibb, Southern Houston, we could take it full right here. Yeah, in Twiggs into Wilkinson, and then the one that's in Washington. Once again, I'm in velocity mode. I'm looking for rotation, looking for things spinning, and I don't see any of that. So that is very good news. Once again, so trust me, my phone's been blowing up. People on edge saying, oh, I don't want to do this again. Right now, we are not talking about tornado stuff. We are watching very carefully, and we still have a ways to go to get all this stuff through here. But the good news is nothing even remotely rotating with any of these. Of course, now there's that Crisp County thing we were dealing with, and that has fallen apart for the time being, and hopefully it stays that way. And all the rest of this, again, if you're looking out the window, you may still see trees kind of blowing, and you're going to get some lightning and thunder and some heavy rain. You may hear a little bit of hail, stuff like that and everything. But again, think of it more, what would you do in the summertime? You're out on the lake, you're out in the pool, you come in, you let one of these guys roll through, and you go do your thing. So these are just going to take a little bit longer to get through because there are more of them than what we would see on a, on a summer afternoon. They have tornado possible written on the Twiggs one. I'm not sure. I never noticed that until just right now.
They do. That was that rotation we were talking about.
Okay, that's from earlier.
Yeah.
Then, so they must have seen that too. Okay, I don't see it now though. Trying to comb through the chat here for a second.
Let's see. Ben, I'm pulling this picture of this twin tornado into our Max computer here so that I can punch it up here fairly quickly, because this is very neat. It's going to take me just a second to do that.
Well, and that video was crazy too.
Yes.
Of the one in Crisp County just a little while ago. Whenever we get that one going from the newsroom, we'll try to show you that as well. All right, so that says tornado possible. That was from earlier when this was issued, because there was a little bit of a signature outside of Jeffersonville. We don't see that now. Okay, so this is a severe thunderstorm warning proper as an actual severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take the lightning off so we can get a better idea. I want to kind of zoom in on this swath right through here so you can just see how everything is moving. West Macon, North Macon, probably some heavy rain coming down. Definitely got the lightning thing going on. Maybe some hail a little bit here or there, and some gusty winds. But once again, no rotation. There's still more rain to come. We may even transition into kind of looking at flash flooding issues in just a little bit. Do you have it now?
Yeah, check this out.
This is going to go over. Let's go over to Alex to see this. You can see the twin tornadoes.
This is Cordele. There's tornado number 1 right here, and here is tornado number 2. This was just moments ago.
You don't see that often.
You really don't. I mean, this is really, really notable, and I want to make sure we give credit to a member of our 13 WMAZ Weather Network, Wyatt Robinson, for sending this in. This was, I don't have my bearings on downtown Cordele just yet, but this is just beyond the William Pitts Oil Company, and you can see that right there. This would have been in the last 30 to 45 minutes there in Crisp County, but we do not have a tornado warning in effect right now because it does look like that rotation has since let go and continuing to move along. But still, been 2 severe thunderstorm warnings now, Twiggs and Wilkinson with this tornado possible tag on it right here. This is going to run for the next 20 minutes or so. Down to the south, we've got Crisp, Dooley, Sumter, Wilcox, also threat of a tornado possible until 4:45. And let's see if we can check in on this. Ben, actually a few areas here. Let me see if this lines up with the reflectivity, not so much, but some broad rotation coming across the Wilcox County line. Not really catching my eye just yet. Also, it does look like something... not really. Something was trying to do something near Cordele again, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Let's also check on the rotation up in Twiggs County. Again, the National Weather Service had a tornado possible tag on this. This would have been, whatever was there would have been just crossing Interstate 16, but nothing that has really caught my eye. Although, Ben, tell me what you think about this. Oop, it's going to reset here. Hold on. So if we zoom in here, notice how it has this little notch here. If I come over to the velocity, it's very strange, but if I come to the correlation coefficient, actually that's updated since then. It looks like something was there, but
it's so hard to tell that close in. You can get blips that'll fool you right there.
Exactly. So So not too concerned about that. But this is a part of a larger storm that is over an area that was heavily populated, or that was heavily impacted yesterday. Georgia 96 between Interstate 16 and Jeffersonville was impassable for several hours, and this is over that area now. A quick aside, quite the lightning show coming into Macon Bibb right now. This is going to be over the next few minutes. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Bibb, Crawford, Monroe. This includes parts of North Macon, threat of hail, but really the lightning is the story here. If I put a counter on this, if I just do this whole thing right here.
Probably thousands and thousands.
And let's see if I can, let's see. I'm just going to do all of central Georgia just to see what we're looking at, about over 1,500 lightning strikes in the past 10 minutes.
Also note that the majority are cloud to ground strikes.
Yes.
We're seeing positive strikes on that. So if you not a good idea to be outside or near the windows. So these strikes are no doubt hitting the ground in some spots out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tons of lightning. And as I was saying, the hail thing, we're still trying to figure that out. I know there is hail within these storms, and we've already seen 1 inch to 1.25 inches. Again, we're just not able to show it to you right now. I did want to show you the couple of models here, just so you can say to yourself, all right, there is eventually an end to this. Now, they're different looking. Again, this is the latest high-res model, and it just kind of shows more of the same thing. There's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, just over and over again into 8 o'clock. 9, 10. I don't see as many. I don't see those little pendant-shaped ones anymore, Alex.
Yeah, the ones that you were talking about earlier that went south to east. Yeah. Although it does look like right about
right there. They just show up in intensity. Yeah. I think of rain.
Yeah.
Now here's around midnight tonight, and so here's the thing. Are we done at this point? And here's the front. So we still have to get the front through. Is there still stuff popping up? Either rain, sprinkles. Maybe a thunderstorm or two. We'll have to see what that is, but I want you to keep an eye on that 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. This is the high-res model. Now, keep that in mind, and let me show you the graph model, which has been right a lot lately. Not all models are always right. Some of them just outperform better in different situations. This one, if you get it to kind of where we are now, well, it's not completely on with the initialization as far as where all the storms are now, but the idea is there. That as you go forward, as we get into 6, 7, 8 o'clock, this stuff starts to move south and east and starts to get on out of here. And so that's the one you want, because then once we get into midnight 1, 2 as the front, you can see the clouds coming from Alabama. There's nothing to tap into left, and so that would be the end of it.
Ben, our producer Jess is telling me we have some more pictures to show. If we could punch those up. Here in the tag board. This is Lake Blackshear. A few minutes ago across the lake, you can see a very thin tornado there. One of the clients who has a home there on Lake Blackshear. Let's see what else we got. There's that twin tornado that we just saw from Wyatt Robinson. That's very close to downtown Cordele. Twin tornadoes, I should say. I believe we have one more. That was Warner Robins. I think we've seen that picture that hailed for about 10 minutes. Charles Riley sent us that. And if you want to send us pictures, you can do so. You can text them to 478-752-1309, only when it's safe to do so. If it's hailing outside right now, please don't go outside and take a picture of anything. Don't want to put you in that situation, as that is not a safe situation to be in. But if you do see something, even if it's damage, anything, you can send us a picture of that. Again, that number is on your screen, 478-752-1309. Let's check out that one other picture. There we go, near Airport and Cordele, taken from downtown. Ben, that looks like a wall cloud there. That's not a wide tornado. Yeah. I don't believe. I believe that I believe
that's an illusion with the building in front of it.
It could be as well. But so if this was taken near the airport, I believe that would be looking north, which would line up with that signature. Regardless, what you're seeing on your screen right there is not a wide tornado. If there is a tornado in that, it would be very thin and closer to the ground, but obscured by that building right there.
Yeah, the images I have seen in the video of that tornado were not a wide one. Yeah. It was very concentrated into kind of a skinny one. Let me show you here on, is that it for the photos? I don't want to interrupt.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yep. Okay. Back over here with me, I just want to show you once again, because that, to me, the main thing with all this as we go through today, we already know we have severe thunderstorm warnings and all this, stuff out here with the lightning and the gusty winds and the hail. We don't want to see tornado stuff. I think everybody can agree that's the main thing. This is old. I know we have this hooked to these warnings where whichever one you're close to, it'll jump to it and grab that. That was when they originally issued that. So There's nothing to see here. All this other stuff that's out here, I'm looking everywhere on velocity. I'm spending most of my time actually on velocity, looking to see if we're seeing anything rotating, and I do not. So we do not have anything tornadic in our whole area right now. I don't see anything rotating, no spin. We are watching out for that. Is it possible that we could see something like that? I don't know why it keeps wanting to grab that one. Yeah, it is possible, but it is not likely today. Yesterday was a different kind of story. So the main threat for today continues to be, and it may still keep going like this for a while, these things are going to keep rumbling, and the hail, little pockets of that we'll see at times, 1 inch to 1.25 inches. And then, of course, the gusty winds. If you're in one of these severe thunderstorm warnings, they can get up to 60 miles per hour with some of this. But again, the idea, in my mind, the hope is that we will eventually try to work this atmosphere over. That will help us eventually calm some of this down, but also if we can, once we get past sunset, that will help as well. Again, here's a look at your numbers. You can tell where it's been raining and where it hasn't. 67 in Macon, 68 Warner Robins. You have 81 in Milledgeville. That rain will probably put that out in a little bit. This is running underneath Sandersville, so you're still sitting at 81 in McRae, all the way up 85. With all the humidity that's out there and these numbers, we've been seeing heat index numbers at around 90 degrees. Yeah, crazy stuff. So in a lot of respects, it is somewhat like a summer afternoon out there, but in April. And of course, the tornado watch is out for all of our area until 10 o'clock tonight. That is a just in case. That just means, again, the watching for the potential of maybe something that would spin. And we don't see anything like that now. This is mainly gusty winds, lightning, and hail. Let's see in the chat room if there's anything else going on. It looks like there's a mesoscale discussion that just came out a little bit, and that's for a watch in northwest Georgia, north Alabama, Tennessee.
That's that front. That's,
yeah. They'll probably go severe thunderstorm maybe with that one.
Potentially. I'm getting more pictures of these twin tornadoes in Cordele, and they're really quite stunning. It looks like, I'm trying to close out of this, that Cordele has a train camera somewhere, and the train camera caught the twin tornadoes there. Thank you to everybody sending pictures and video, getting a video now over Lake Blackshear. I'm sending all of these to our newsroom now so that we can get these on air as quickly as possible. But lots of hail, and then the tornado down to the south in Cordele, South Houston Lake at 96, getting pictures of hail there. This would have been around 345, Warner Robins, but that tornado threat has since ended. Ben, I do want to note, down to the south, they have dropped that severe thunderstorm warning as well. That was, yes, there is no longer a severe thunderstorm warning.
We talked about how these could collapse.
Yeah, and I think
that one did.
It did, and in the process of doing so, it likely dumped whatever it was holding over the area. So maybe that was the collapse of the storm there that would have, one, produced all this lightning because of the friction in it. Whenever it releases, it causes a bunch of friction. That's how you get lightning. But also, if I turn the lightning off here, you can see it's not what it was, and it's very ragged looking now compared to what it was 15 to 20 minutes ago now in Crisp County. But still raining heavily in that area. Even though there's not a severe thunderstorm warning, still don't want to be outside in it. Where we do have severe thunderstorm warnings, Ben, I do believe all of these go until 5 o'clock, so 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for those 3 warnings. I suspect we will see them extended. We can't check in on that hail size because it looks like...
Yeah, I was looking here. It looks like there's some National Weather Service issues with our delivery mechanism that we are able to get some of these products in. As far as like hail, things like that, that's having some issues. Here's a different look at the temperature map, so you can kind of take it off just to show you where things have cooled down some, where this rain-cooled air is, and you can see where it is not. Now, as I go from there into the dew point map, that is a summertime map right there. To see dark green, mid-70s dew points. I mean, we're seeing that in a bunch of areas. I saw some 73, 74s out there earlier, and here's the feels like number. So where it has rained, different story. It feels like 89 in McRae.
So let's
Hancock.
And look at the shape on this one. So this severe thunderstorm warning is for a tornado possible tag on this as well. This is just to the north of the Sparta area, and it looks like it's going to be moving this way. The rotation not tight enough for...
I don't see anything in velocity on it.
I see a little bit right in here.
Yeah.
But that's very ragged looking. That's grasping at straws. And actually, there's a new scan right there. The radar thing just came right on by.
Okay.
So looks like the weather's, and that's co-located with that hook right there. Also, one thing to note, whenever we see an impulse and lightning in a situation like this where you see a rotation coming together, that can be an indication of a strengthening storm. And this would be to the north of the Sparta area. So this is about to cross Georgia 16 near the shoulder bone area. Highway 15, let's see if we can get some more roads in here. Lovejoy Road, Fairmont Road, not a tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but watching some rotation within that. Evergreen Road, Dickens Pond Road, it'd be right in that area. Let's lose the lightning there. Hunts Chapel Road over towards Dixie Road and County Road 9. So Sparta is down here. This would be passing to the north. If I put just a quick loop on that, you can see actually, Ben, how that's come together in the past few scans like that. And this would be north of Sparta in Hancock County. That severe thunderstorm warning going to go until about 5:30.
All right, that's new information right there. Looks like, is that a new one for Putnam? Jasper just landed right there. Jones.
That is. And that also, that does not have a tornado possible tag on that, but look at that little
hook.
Yep.
All right, but I was just in that neighborhood looking at velocity and didn't see anything. I'm not seeing whatever. They didn't say tornado possible in that one.
No,
anyway.
they did not. So this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be for hail nearly 2 inches in diameter. And
we have hail back, I think.
Do we? Let's see. We do. There it is.
Okay,
so there's that
our hail
core.
signatures are back. Good.
Yes. So the problem has been solved. So with that being said,
Thanks, Brian.
Hail headed towards Hillsborough and Round Oak, or threading the needle between the two, right along that Jones, Putnam, Jasper County line right there, in towards Putnam County. So let's get lay of the land with hail since we have it back.
I'm seeing a decrease overall in hail.
I am as well.
If you like scan back and forward, I don't know which max we're on right there. I guess we're on yours.
Well, I think it
you
picks
can see
up
the
to that
bigger
outage.
ones earlier.
Yeah, see, there's that outage when it doesn't move.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So yeah, we were seeing hail. I know we've seen hail in Warner Robins over
This was
an inch
earlier,
in
by the
diameter.
way. Yeah.
But now here is the picture across central Georgia, only a few specks on there, which is good news.
That's an improvement.
Yes, very, very happy about that. But nonetheless, 5 active severe thunderstorm warnings, 3 of which we are going to lose in the next 6 minutes. And they are working on a new watch for northern Georgia. So we will keep an eye on that. Actually, I wanted to pop that back up. You're going to see this picture a lot. And I just want to briefly describe what's going on here. These are twin tornadoes that happened very close to Cordele. This is looking from the train station. And I'm showing you this because in the meteorological world, this is very rare. This is Crisp County. This would have been moments ago. And the storm has since collapsed in that area.
Okay.
Ben, will send it over to you.
All right, Billy Hancock in Crisp County down there. I hoped we would hear from you at some point. You guys have had quite an active afternoon. How's it going?
We have. We're recovering now, just watching lightning and rain at the moment with a little bit of hail.
Tell me about especially Lake Blackshear area.
We got the first call from a citizen saying they had a confirmed tornado out there. And then they started telling us, and so I'm sorry, they were telling me we got a structure fire now. So we were.
Well, if you need to go handle that, please do.
No, we're good. I got deputies going. They were just letting me know where they were leaving the operations center headed. And so we saw the funnel crowd. We had a video. We knew it was confirmed. The National Weather Service was great, telling us that you've got a couple of rotations out there, and then shortly after that, a second one formed south of it that they call the inflow wind to it, and it started moving north from the south part of the county, and then we tracked these things on camera, on city cameras and videos, all the way through the county and out the northeast side of the county with only 1 or 2 trees down, with one lightning strike starting a fire, and so the videos of the actual on ground were in open fields where people had, already started planting crops. We're fortunate in that. We are very fortunate. God had His hand over us.
For sure. That is. Do we have the video, Jess? Oh, Billy, if you don't mind, if you could send us whatever you have. The video especially. We have seen that video. Sometimes in the world we have to operate in, we have to have verification of a video. Occasionally you'll have folks that'll pump in a video 5 years old and say, oh, this is Cordele, Georgia, you know, so we don't really know. But if we got it from you, we would know that it was legit if you could send that to us.
I have several of them. We'll sit down here in just a minute and get them to you.
Okay.
Some of them are spectacular.
I bet they are. I cannot believe that really outside of a tree or so down, no damage, no injuries.
None whatsoever. It's just, you know, I mean, it was great, you know, for us to be protected like we were. It was scary. I mean,
I'm sure.
You felt like if you raised your hand in the air, you could have touched the bottom of it as it went over.
Oh, wow. Billy, if you got something to write down, it's just email it to news@13wmaz.com, and that way it'll come straight in.
13wmaz.com.
News at 13. Yeah. Okay. Billy, listen, I know you guys got your hands full, you know, with the fire and all that stuff down there too, but thanks so much. Most of this stuff for you is calming down and moving through, and we're hoping this is going to be a trend for everybody tonight. But thanks for checking in, and we may check back in with you a little later.
We'll be here. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Billy. Billy Hancock in Crisp County down there where the Cordele or the tornado situation was rough earlier, Alex.
Yeah, Ben, I want to check in. We're going to show some pictures here in a second. Before we do that, I want to show you what's going on in Hancock County right now because we're watching this. It's very broad, but this is co-located with a notch in the storm. This would be to the north of Sparta. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Hancock County to the north of Sparta. This would be the Shoulder Bone area, Culverton up towards Powelton. Riding right along Georgia 15, 22 in that area. In fact, that latest sweep came in and it didn't look as good. All right, well, let's check out some of the pictures.
That's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. Here we have some pictures from Warner Robins hail video. Let's check out the hail video from Warner Robins. This would have been about an hour or so ago, hour and 15, hour 20. This is the Warner Robins area. You can see hail coming down. If you see this outside, certainly not an area where you'd want to be outside in this situation. I assume this person's undercover, but that is hail video out of Warner Robins. And I'm sure Warner Robins is not the only spot that saw a lot of hail because as we've been showing the hail map, it has been very bright in some instances.
Oh,
but
it
now
still
has,
is. Look at, flip over to Jones-Jasper line.
Yeah, okay.
You're
So
talking
that's
an inch to an inch and a quarter, inch and a half maybe in diameter.
So here's Lake Juliet right here. This is just the north of it. That is Jones and Jasper. This is headed towards George 11. And like Ben and I have been talking about, this is old data. So this would have been 5-10 minutes ago. So this is probably right over to the south of the Hillsborough community right now to the north of Round Oak. Let me flip this over to the radar and we can see just that. If I turn off this lightning here, some of the higher reflectivity values right in here, and this is pushing to the east too. So if you are in Putnam County, south of Stanfordville, this is headed in your general direction. But Ben, the good news is the hail size in this is not quite as expansive as it was in Warner Robins earlier. And we are, that's a new tornado watch for northwest Georgia. So quick lay of the land. We are about to lose a lot of warnings here at 5 o'clock. They are expiring Bibb. We will lose Twiggs and Wilkinson. And how about this? We just check in after 5 o'clock because we are coming up on 5, I believe. Are we starting 13 WMAZ News at 5?
I believe we are. This coverage has been going on a long time, and now we welcome Frank Malloy and Lori Johnson to the party for our 5 o'clock show. Let us restart, regroup.
Yes.
Guy, thanks very much. We certainly appreciate it, Ben and Alex, as we continue to go through another day. Fortunately, much quieter than yesterday, although some areas have seen some interesting stuff going on right now. You just heard from Billy Hancock in Crisp County talking about the fact that they had those tornadoes on the ground, but did not appear to do much damage, mainly a couple of trees down, and that is
Which is
amazing.
Truly amazing because we saw the video, we saw the pictures that Alex and Ben were showing us, and that just touched down in open fields. Truly a blessing. I believe we also have some other videos sent in, possibly out of Warner Robins, some hail video. We've been talking a lot about hail this afternoon, and I don't know if we have that video, if we can show that. Don't think we might have that right now. There we go. Okay, so this is video sent in from Chuck Shaheen of hail in Warner Robins. Looks like they are on their back porch here, and you can, if you listen, you can hear it hit. You can see the little white balls. So, you know, just some of that storm damage in the Houston County area.
All right, now in other news, we were covering yesterday, we saw a possible tornado touchdown in Houston County, and we did receive confirmation today that obviously that was the case. I believe we have some sound about that right now.
Obviously, the intensity of the storm varied along the path, and we're trying to figure out the path, first of all. it was a tornado. And so we're looking at some of the damage in here. We're going to look at some of the damage on Hawkinsville Road and some of the areas in between here and there, and try and come up with a wind estimate of what this tornado was.
As you just heard, the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado that went through Houston County Tuesday afternoon.
Now, they say the path went through just south of Robins Air Force Base in the Statham Landing subdivision. National Weather Service crews conducted limited surveys this morning, because more surveys are expected tomorrow once all this bad weather passes.
Yeah, Houston County neighborhood woke up to a lot of storm damage. Now they have to clean up the mess. Molly Jett went to Warner Robins to see how people are teaming up to get the job done.
I think the Lord took care of us this time, because we have 3 houses here. My 2 neighbors on each side in my house, the house itself was not damaged at all.
Richard Gore lives in Statham's Landing in Warner Robins. He was home Tuesday when the storm hit. This morning he woke up to the sights and sounds of cleanup crews, including roofers and contractors. Just before 11, the American Red Cross arrived. It is something Andrew Wilson said he has never experienced before. He's just grateful to see everybody out helping one another.
It was like out of a horror movie. You come out here, everything's destroyed, but at the same time, it's kind of amazing. Like, everyone, like, as soon as they know they're all right and nothing is completely destroyed in their houses, they're all coming out here and making sure everybody else is okay.
Teamwork down there. Houston County MA Director Chris Stoner said there were no injuries. He said they also shut off and isolated all gas leaks in that particular Houston County neighborhood.
Today, Governor Kemp declared a state of emergency for Georgia in anticipation of the storms that we're seeing now. This is aerial footage of Bryan County, where County Coroner Bill Cox confirmed at least 1 person died in Pembroke as a result of Tuesday's storm. Today, the governor toured Bryan County and talked with folks.
You know, this storm, from what we're seeing and now learning, is what we fear the most. It was a pop-up, devastating tornado. The only good thing that happened last night is it didn't stay on the ground. It went up and down, bouncing, if you will. So we're blessed that it wasn't a prolonged on-the-ground event. But where it did hit, it is complete devastation.
Now, Matthew Kent, a county government spokesperson, said several other people were also hurt in the county 30 miles west of Savannah.
All right, of course, power outages. There were some yesterday. There are some today. Let's check on what's happening right now.
Kalisha Moore joins us in studio to walk us through what we're seeing right now.
That's right. One of the things that these storms really do affect is going to be people's power and electricity. Over here, I have a current map that's showing folks around the county and surrounding counties in central Georgia what your power outages are looking like. Now, on this map right here, this is with Georgia Power, and what you can see on your screen is currently some yellow and some green. That means that the power outages around these areas are only hitting to about 5,000 customers being affected. When we click here over in Macon, we can see only 1,319 people have been affected out of a little over 70,000 customers that we have. When we go over here to Gray and Milledgeville, we can see that they're still sitting in the green right now. Zooming a little bit closer, you can see not a lot of those areas are effective. We do have another map to show you guys, and this is with Flint Energy, and they're still sitting at about the same. This is current as of 4:55 p.m. and you can see here on this chart that there are only 173 people affected right now out of a little less than 100,000 customers, which is still pretty good for the weather that we've been having. You can see that it comes through the Fort Valley and the Byron, Warner Robins, Butler, all of those surrounding areas. And we also do still have this map for Tri-County, and that is also current as of a little bit before 5 p.m. Those customers are only seeing about 1 being affected on this map, not so many. But Frank and Lori, I'll have more updates for you guys as we go through the show.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kalisha. That is encouraging news.
Yeah.
We've seen the crews have been out all day trying to restore that power.
Yeah, saw some crews from Jacksonville in here in town earlier too. Time to check back in now with Ben Jones and Alex Forbes for the very latest on what's happening out there currently.
Yeah, good news, guys. I mean, we dropped those warnings off that went until 5 o'clock. Those are gone. These will go until, what are they, 5:30, maybe something like that with these, Alex?
Yeah.
Something like that. So this is for Jasper, Putnam, Northern Jones. And I know it's just a mess. I mean, there's just thousands of lightning strikes going on. Hancock County with that one. That'll be leaving Hancock in just a little bit. And again, I've been scouring around looking because the main thing everybody's looking for, are we seeing tornadoes with this? I do not see any tornadoes in any of this stuff right here. It doesn't mean that we couldn't see a brief spin up in a couple of spots, but every time I go around the horn looking at velocity mode, I don't see anything other than some gusty winds. We are seeing pockets of hail. And then definitely the lightning is probably one of the biggest threats. You just don't need to be outside or close to a window. A lot of these are cloud to ground strikes that we're seeing. So just smart, keeping it smart out there. Now there's a gap in between where this stuff has been pouring and then what we saw down here in Crisp County that was sort of untouched. That is starting to try to fill in a little bit. We may get our Perry Skycam, Alex, to look toward the south and west and see if we can take a look at this. All indications are that these are going to be garden variety thunderstorms. If there's anything that, of course, starts to spin, we'll let you know. We do have the tornado watch up in this big red box for all of our area until 10 o'clock tonight. And again, the hope of all this is we will work this atmosphere over, and maybe that will help decrease some of the intensity of the storms if we see anything later tonight. What do you mean later tonight, weatherman? Well, the cold front is back here. There's a new tornado watch up here in northern Alabama, northwest Georgia, Tennessee. The cold front right here, until that gets all the way through here, we're not totally in the clear. And that's overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning before that will come all the way through. So you can see these thunderstorms and notice how we're not seeing any warnings. It's a severe thunderstorm watch back in Alabama. That's a good sign so far. And we only have the 2 here. And then as you go down on the Georgia-Florida line, we're seeing a couple there. And then I believe there's one in two in South Carolina. So for the most part, it's definitely much different than what we saw yesterday. What you seeing on that Skycam over there, Alex?
Ben, this is looking to the south and to the west now from the Georgia National Fairgrounds. So this is looking down into Dooley County. Nothing that's really jumping out at me. Obviously some darkening in the clouds here, which means the rain starts right about there or so where it starts to lighten up. But as we were looking on the radar just a few seconds ago, some lightning strikes in the area. Maybe it's trying to get its act together in the terms of strengthening, not necessarily into a tornadic storm, but a severe thunderstorm. And I just want to point out, I just queried lightning over the whole area, all of central Georgia. Over the past 10 minutes, we've seen over 3,500 lightning strikes, which, Ben, that is a notable jump from what we had maybe an hour ago. If I do this again.
Well, most of it's definitely in that big cluster in the middle.
So that inside that box, that's 2,500 strikes right there. And that is a lot of lightning. I heard from Connor a few minutes ago, a lot of lightning Zebulon, that Zebulon Road area, obviously all across central Georgia from Columbus to Macon. It's just like a giant shield of lightning right now. And then that extends up towards Milledgeville. Obviously, all of this not happening at once. You can see the individual flashes coming in, but certainly a loud afternoon in this area. And then continuing to watch these down to the south. This was the tornadic storm over Crisp County. That's now moving into southern Dodge. No warnings on that right now, not reason to be concerned, and that's the lay of the land right now. But really quickly, I did want to show you, we are all in a tornado watch until 10 p.m. tonight. These are the counties, so every county until 10 p.m. And I don't think we're going to see anything trimmed back necessarily soon, because if you look at the radar, what we're seeing is a giant glob of storms, and the front is still, as Ben was just showing you, it's still back out here into Alabama. So all of this in this general area is fair game. And when we look at the radars, we typically see it in a circle because we're looking from one radar site. This is the whole thing. So we've got more storms back into Montgomery now that are moving it generally in the eastern direction. So this isn't it. And we're going to be looking at some more through the overnight hours as this moves east-southeast, and then hopefully we will get that to settle down. But Ben has also been talking about for a while now, hoping to get some of these storms to lessen in intensity as we head into the overnight hours, basically work over our atmosphere. I'm looking up to the north now, and it's notable, Ben, that we're starting to see these storms form in northern Georgia. Yeah. Because essentially what that's telling us is that this barrier of storms right here, or I shouldn't use the word barrier, it's actually not a barrier, because we're starting to see these develop now north of them. A lot of lightning there between Bartow and Cherokee counties. That's in the Canton area, and then over just across the Alabama state line. So I thought that was really interesting that we're seeing these develop despite.
It may be pulling that from the southwest, getting pulled in between those gaps in the storms. Yeah,
it could be coming. The energy could be coming this way, there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And if you look over here on Max 2 here, I just want to show you some of the numbers. You can see the rain-cooled air. We want to get these numbers down. Of course, sunset eventually will do it, but that's still a long way off, a few hours away. But once we can work this over, we have more cloud cover out there now. Hopefully that will lessen this down. And we've already seen that with respect to many features with this. We don't have as many warnings as the original powder keg, and the hail for the most part is gone, except with these where they have just been starting to develop. So where you're seeing new storms, that's where you're seeing a hail core that's maybe putting down close to 1 inch in diameter with some of these. So everybody else where it has been working the atmosphere over, we have seen that really kind of fall apart out there. So again, been scanning around, been looking. I can show you just quickly for yourself. You can look at velocity mode, and we don't see anything rotating out there. So once again, guys, I'm going to toss it back over to you. As we look at this, we are not seeing any tornadoes or anything like that right now. We're still keeping our eye out for it, though there is nothing remotely close to that right now, guys.
Yeah, that is indeed good news. And as Alex said, it's very loud out there.
It is very loud, but you know, compared to yesterday, it's a totally different situation, a different setup, just like they mentioned. So, but you can, when you walked outside this afternoon, you could feel the mugginess.
That
so
was nuts.
yeah, you could feel that something was a brewing.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to go checking out some of the pictures and videos you've been sending us today safely. This looks like heavy wind and rain at Calvary Chapel Heartland. That's in Fort Valley. Off Highway 96, a grand pecan tree was downed by the wind. Now that's a tornado by Cordele, Georgia. That's the one they've been talking about, and Sheriff Hancock was talking about. But unfortunately, no real damage, but that was near the Dollar General. Zeke Best sent that in. Thank you, Zeke.
Okay, so this was taken crossing the bridge at Lake Blackshear. This photo was taken by Joel Bernard, and you can see that just ominously looking cloud. So thank you so much, Joel, for sending that in. Hail, look at this. Hailing in Warner Robins. This is off of Lakejoy Road. Look, those are some pretty big stones there. Some more from Lakejoy Road, that area we were talking about where the hail was coming down.
And that's in Cordele again, the tornado that definitely was on the ground in Cordele. But as Sheriff Hancock said, maybe just a couple of trees toppled, which is pretty amazing when you look at that. And of course, we want to take a moment to remind you to send us photos and videos only when you can do it safely. That means after everything passes through. You can text those damaged photos to us or just some video weather photos to 478-752-1309 or upload them to the Near Me feature on our app. Well, Bibb County Schools say Rosa Taylor Elementary should be back to normal tomorrow. Faculty and staff could not report today due to storm damage in that neighborhood. The school was without power. Homeowners in the surrounding area were cleaning up the damage from Tuesday's storm.
Worst natural disaster that I've seen personally ever.
Stephanie Hartley with the Bibb County School District says they expect classes at Rosa Taylor to resume with normal operations tomorrow.
Now, the storm unleashed its rage up and down Wimbish Road in Macon, and one church took a big hit. We're going to show you what Northminster Presbyterian looked like Tuesday morning at sunrise. Beautiful picture. After that, the punishing winds and rains finished their wrath. This, was what was left behind. Crane crews moved in to remove the steeple that first went up in 1980. They took it off the roof and then gently lowered it onto the ground. Pastor Ralph Hawkins hunkered down in the hallway when everything unfolded yesterday.
It was only later, once things calmed down, I started hearing water inside the building and began to investigate and realized that we had 2 gaping holes in the roof and, of course, a tower open to the sky, which prompted me to say, what happened to our steeple?
Okay, so of course we're going to hear much more about that steeple coming down. Frank, I mean, that was just some really incredible video that we saw of the steeple. It was just so beautiful in the morning, and then bam! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have a lot of online elements to that steeple story, including a time lapse of the steeple coming down off the roof.
And if you don't already have it, download the 13WMAZ mobile app. You can get it in the Google Play or Apple Store, or you can quickly scan the QR code on screen. Once you get to the app, be sure to sign up for notifications. You'll get the latest weather and news alerts sent straight to your phone. And we're going to be right back.
All right, ongoing continuing coverage for the second day in a row of severe weather. Yesterday, a linear system that came across with some rotating cells in there that had some tornado touchdowns off and on. The only thing with that T word that we have seen, tornado, was down in Crisp County. And we talked to Billy Hancock, emergency management director down there, and they barely any damage down there. A couple of trees down, that's about it, which is amazing because they had a tornado warning and we saw a debris signature down there. Everything else that we've been seeing has been severe thunderstorm warnings like the two we have here, Jasper, Putnam, and then as you get into Hancock, leaving away. All of this, including these two, I don't see anything rotating in any of that. So that is the big takeaway for now. Is that's the case. Now we still have to get this front through here later on tonight, which is not close. It is still way back in Alabama. So right along through here is where the cold front is. And I know if you're looking at this going, man, that's going to take a while. Yeah, it is. It'll be overnight tonight into the early morning hours before that finally comes on through. And then the question is, and Alex and I were just talking about it in the commercial break, is are we going to still see anything along that? I want to show you here just for a second. Just two quick model takes. This is the high-res model. Keep in mind this one usually is a little bit more kind of in your face with the color table. So this one kind of shows you still going 7, 8 o'clock tonight, off and on. And then you can see top left of your screen, here comes the front. This is midnight tonight. You know, will we see thunderstorms still along that front, or is that just rain? How is that going to go as it comes through? It's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you look at the graph model, it shows a different kind of scenario. It shows what we have now, trailing on off toward the south and east. Atmosphere is washed over. We lose the heat of the day. We're into the overnight hours and just a quiet passage of the front. So we don't really know exactly which scenario is going to take place, but we're trying to figure that out as we can continue to go on through. But again, good news out there that just the two severe thunderstorm warnings, we've seen a lot of lightning and continue, and that's going to continue. And some hail in pockets as well. So just a loud afternoon for right now, and we're hoping it stays that way. But once again, there's a tornado watch until 10, but I don't see anything rotating, guys. So that is really good news.
That is the best news. Still waiting for the cold front. Thank you,
Yes.
Ben.
Well, the storms from yesterday are gone. Others rolling through right now. But of course, yesterday's storms left damage for homeowners to deal with in Houston County. Several homes, missing roofs, broken windows, extensive damage. Now homeowners are cleaning it all up, getting insurers involved, and finding help.
Kelvin Collins with the Bear Business Bureau advises people to beware of scams.
This opens up a lot of opportunities for out-of-state contractors to come in and just make a quick buck. And there's too many reputable contractors in the middle Georgia area to be farming your work out.
Homeowners should keep track of their receipts when they pay contractors and ask for help if they need it from agencies like FEMA or the Red Cross. And coming up a little later, we'll have more on how you can avoid getting cleaned out while you're cleaning up. And stay with us. This extended edition of 13 WMAZ News at 5 continues right after this. Continuing coverage of severe weather across Georgia. Of course, severe weather can mean power outages.
That's right. Kalisha Moore joins us in studio to walk us through what we're seeing now.
That's exactly what it means, Frank. Now, I am still over here at this interactive map, and good news, we're still in the green and in the yellow, which means customers affected are still under 5,000. Now, I'm looking at the current Macon and Bibb County map. I'm going to move in, zoom in a little bit closer, show you some areas that are really affected. When I zoom in here, you can see it's near Amerson River Park and Ingleside Baptist Church. Now, when I click over here, it tells me that there are about little less than 300 customers affected. They're saying extreme weather has caused those widespread outages. When I move over here a little bit more to the left, we can see it says it's about 214 with those. Over here in the blue near the Ingleside Baptist Church, spikes way up just under 800 at 745, and that's per Georgia Power. When I go over here and click on the map for Flint Energies, we see we've had some movement over here. It's gotten some red spots over here near Roberta. It's over at 651. It says that right now the current affected people are around 884 people. Total outages sitting at 18 right now. When I move over to the right near Warner Robins, Centerville and such, we see that's moved up a little bit near the Bon Air area to 11. Now when I go over here to Tri-County, we also see some red on this map near the Milledgeville area. Now they're still doing pretty good. The red means that they're just under 500 customers affected, which really isn't that bad. Make sure if you do have those power outages, you can call your power company, let them know what's going on. I'm sure they're doing the best they can to get everyone taken care of. Have patience with them. And Frank and Lori, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Kalisha. I mean, really considering everything that we saw yesterday, those power outages, not so bad.
I hope it'll continue that trend, too. Meanwhile, a Truitland County woman is alive and safe after the storm last night rolled through that area. She says she and her dog took cover in the closet. Bain Evans was at home on Ohoopee Bend near Soperton. She was waiting the storm before heading to work. She got a tornado alert on her phone, texted her husband, who was not at home, while she was hiding in the closet. She waited until it was over to come out and see the damage. She says she and her husband still haven't fully processed what happened to their home.
Right now, we're still in the process of trying to secure what's left. We need containers, we need storage to be able to store the things that we are going to be able to salvage from the rubble. We need a place to put that.
Josh Love with Truitland County EMA says 3 homes on Ohoopee Bend suffered major damage. He says one person did suffer a minor injury. They refused treatment and they're doing okay.
A viewer says this video of hail in Bon Air, you can hear it coming down continuously, falling onto the driveway. You take a look, real close look, you can see the little white hail balls on the ground. So that was just from a little earlier today.
Yeah, I'm right here. I have to admit, I went to the prop room to look out the window to see the rain. It's pouring so heavily out here. Yeah, well,
I need to go see.
Yeah, the weather geek kind of gets you. You may want to kill Alex's mic. He's walking through some loud area in there. Okay, so I wanted to show you what's going on with the numbers here, the temperatures, because that has a lot to do with what we're doing too. We want to turn everything over. There's a lot of energy. If you went outside first half of the day, all you had to do is step outside and you're like, man, something's up. It's hot, it's muggy, sun's coming out, all that sort of thing. That's that powder keg environment, kind of like a summertime thing. There is the frontal boundary right here. So this is what we need to come on across, but it is going to be overnight hours into the early morning before that comes in. But you can see where the rain-cooled air is. We're seeing 60s in a lot of spots, and then there's some low 80s. So until we get to sunset, the more we keep kind of turning this. I mean, it may become somewhat annoying, you know, to have the lightning and everything going. And the rain, but again, keep the numbers down, and we'll see how this goes with the environment. I can tell you this, the dew points are crazy. This is a summertime looking map right here. When you get dark green all over the place and you see 70+ dew points, it's not something that's very typical for this time of year. And as we look at the feels like numbers, why am I showing you that? Well, they're down now, but earlier it was feeling like 90 in McRae. Disgusting, especially in a situation like this. You don't really want that out there. There's a look at the movement of all this. I'm leaving the lightning on there on purpose. Sometimes it helps you follow your eye. I could zoom in on all these spots and show you where it's raining, but we know it's raining and thundering in all these places, right? But I'm trying to give you an overall theme here. Notice how everything's kind of been coming together here and back toward the west. And this is where the newer storms have been developing. As you can see with those severe thunderstorm warnings that expire in less than a minute. And if nothing else happens, we will be without any warnings. But I wanted to show you with the hail map here. And notice how this has really worked its way down in intensity. Pea size at best on the scale here, and it's been only in these northern counties. This has been kind of the outflow from these storms have been creating new storms. Now I can go over here and put hail tracks on, and I can take you back to this afternoon and watch these big ones explode. Watch Cordele. That's the one with the tornado in it right there. Look at Houston County over here coming out of Peach County. Tons of hail in there, about 1.5 inches in diameter. Right around in there is where we lost data for a little bit, and then it picked back up with some stronger stuff. Jones going into Jasper. And then you get to basically where we are now. When you turn the hail tracks back off, and you can see there's hardly anything out there with that. So that's kind of how it looks. This is the big picture. Again, these would be what your last storms are, if they're even still holding together later tonight. And there's a lot of if with that, and the models have been, kind of depends on which one you look at, Alex. I mean, is this going to wash out, or do we still have something when the front's coming in late tonight?
Yeah, Ben, we have 2 models.
Alex's mic, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go.
Hello. So we've got 2 models we're keeping an eye on. 2 high-resolution models. They're fairly reliable, and they have 2 very different solutions. So let me walk you through what we've got going on. This is what you see a lot, the graph model. Notice the line of storms coming on through now. This is 8 p.m. coming through Macon, Warner Robins again, and then clearing out. This is 11 p.m. Notice there's some showers along a boundary right about there, and then those really fall apart as they come through central Georgia. Now let's flip this over to the high-resolution model. Again, heavy showers and storms like we're seeing now. This is 8 p.m. across central Georgia, and we roll this forward into the overnight hours. Notice we get some more development around 11 p.m. Don't pay attention to the exact spot, just know that it's there. And then this persists. There's 1 a.m., some heavier stuff still, and then that eventually clears out by about 5 a.m. Now, a piece of news we did just receive, the Bon Air Warner Robins tornado yesterday has been rated an EF3. So we have just confirmed that with the National Weather Service, an EF3 tornado in Houston County yesterday. Thought I would throw that nugget of information in there. And we are also checking in with them. Ben and I have been talking about the different models, what we're thinking, and to put it quite bluntly, we are really just watching in real time to see what we can figure out and see whether or not we're going to have this overnight threat. As of now, this tornado watch that we have in effect is going to be running until 10 p.m. tonight, and all of central Georgia is included in that, again, until 10 p.m. tonight. This, again, a level 3 severe weather day. I can pop this on here. And we are all in this risk, again, for the threat of damaging winds, tornadoes, and large hail. And Ben, we have just moved past 5:30, which means, if I'm not mistaken, we now no longer have any warnings.
Warning free out there, which is really good. I mean, we still have a lot of action going on there. And who knows, at some point this may start transitioning to where we start seeing flash flood warnings. I mean, the rivers over the next couple of days are going to be something to really keep an eye on. All this water has got to go somewhere. So it just keeps pouring over the same areas, and this is what we call training, because it looks like cars on a train as they're going by, just one after another, and there's still all this coming in. So again, it is, as he said, watching in real time. Notice how you have all this action collapse, clears out. Warner Robins and all these areas cleared out earlier, build back in again. So there's still plenty of energy out there to keep going with these storms that are originating in the hot, muggy environment, and they move in to kind of fill these gaps in. You see that in summertime a lot, where eventually everything kind of gets touched at one point or another, either through an outflow or, you know, as long as there's food, energy out there for these storms to find, they'll eventually find it. But if you look at that graph model, I keep watching this to see if all of this kind of comes together. The graph swings it down and out, and I'm just curious to see if that's going to be a trend that continues as we go through the coming hours. If not, and there's still some shear along that cold front late tonight, we'll still have to sit there and watch to see if there's any, maybe a little thunderstorm or two that's along that. I would imagine it wouldn't be nearly this many. It would be a thin line of something, and see if there's any rotation in there. But so far, I'm not leaning in that direction. I'm thinking that I've seen these so many times, even though it's a weird day today, that this should kind of wash out and eventually move away. But we'll see. The closer we can get to sunset and still not have sunshine coming back in is also better out there. Guys and gentlemen, we've been seeing tons of damage out there, and we're going to break, and we're going to see some more of that when we come back. We're still working on getting some videos up for you and everything like that. So stick around. A lot more coverage to come.
Just went into break. Sounds good to me. How's it going, everybody? We are here in the Bibb County Commission chambers, hunkering down. It's perfect.
Continuing coverage of our storms today, in addition to Governor Kemp's declaration of a state of emergency, Mayor Lester Miller also declared the same thing for Macon-Bibb County.
Anthony Montalto joins us live downtown in the EMA bunker to tell us what that means.
Hey guys, so we are actually now in the Bibb County Commission chambers. We can hear the rain hitting the windows like Ben said a few minutes ago. It is really coming down out there. And we're in here because the Emergency Operations Center in that bunker went into severe weather mode. So we'll show you what that looks like just a few minutes ago, or just in just a second here. I'm so sorry. An emergency order basically expands the ability for the county to get assistance from the state. And that's important because they saw a lot of damage in North Macon last night, as I'm sure you saw our coverage. Cleanup crews with solid works were out until about 2:30 this morning. And that emergency order would allow for the county to access more crews to help ease the burden on solid waste. It also allows them to work directly with GEMA. And Miller says the order will be in effect for the next few days until things are cleaned up, and we'll continue to keep you updated with more information here as it develops. But for now, live in Macon, Anthony Montalto, 13 WMAZ News.
Thank you so much, Anthony Montalto at City Hall in Macon-Bibb County.
We all know teachers wear a variety of hats
Yes.
in times of severe weather. Well, the teacher then has to reassure the students that everyone's going to be okay. And that's why we like to shine the spotlight on our educators, especially on Wednesdays.
That's right. This week, Jada Watts takes us to David Perdue Primary in Warner Robins to introduce us to our top teacher.
Good morning, Miss Baker. I'm junior journalist Jada Watts, and you're this week's My Teacher is Tops. Congratulations.
Miss Ashley Baker, she's been teaching for 10 years, and when it comes to her class, she's always looking for unique ways to teach her students. But it doesn't stop there. Miss Baker will soon start a position as a curriculum integration specialist. See, she's going to be coaching other teachers in the district on how to use new technology in their classrooms.
Paisley Barker wrote the letter for Miss Baker. She says she always looks forward to seeing what Miss Baker has planned for their classroom.
I love to go to school because she makes learning fun. Miss Baker always does learning activities.
Honestly, I drink live, breathe teaching. It's made me more passionate. It's made me happier and flexible and patient for sure.
All good qualities that you want in a teacher.
Our junior journalists love to surprise our top teachers. Send in your nominations. Students can do that by writing us a letter or email. Letters go to 1314 Gray Highway, Macon 31211. Email us at myteacherstops@13wmaz.com.
You can also send us a video on the 13WMAZ app. Make sure you include your name, your teacher's name, and what school you attend. Get a parent to help you upload the video, and our JJs might surprise your teacher next. We're back after this.
Welcome back. This is in Perry, looking west over 75 right before the commercial break. This was really going nuts. These flags were going crazy with a lot of rain going by. So this is what we're seeing in many spots. There is a look over downtown Macon, looking off toward the east in our direction here, where the rain continues to pour. There is Dublin. You can see the clouds heading on into town. So where it is not raining, it'll eventually rain, and where it is raining, it could stop for a little bit and then pick up again later. Let's go to the radar shot here on Max 2 and show you that the thunderstorm stuff is still heavy. As far as severe weather, though, zero of that, which is really good stuff. We're seeing a ton of lightning. We're seeing some hail in there at times. Very little of that even from what we saw earlier, and some gusty winds as well. But I'm going to get back to that in a second. What do we have? Were you about to say something, Alex?
We have videos.
Oh, the videos, yes. All right, so this is a little bit earlier. Check this out. This is Lake Blackshear, and watch over that boathouse. You can see the thing forming, and watch how quickly it does form. So that's looking across the lake. This is Jordan McLeod. His aunt sent this in. This is Lake Blackshear in that Crisp County tornado from earlier. Amazing video right here. And of course, not a wide tornado, but definitely very focused in what it's doing right there. You can see it come together over the lake and drop down. All right, Alex, what do you have?
Yeah, it looks like Ben Lime. I believe I heard my Limeberger. This is going to be Cordeal. This is, wow, so taken on Snapchat there. This is just outside of the shelter, it looks like. So that's not the whole tornado itself. What we're likely seeing is that wall cloud right there, and we're seeing probably a thinner tornado that is being obscured by the building right there. But this was when a tornado warning was in effect for Crisp County. Thanks for sending us that. And then this is damage, I believe this is Twiggs County, if I am not mistaken. Oh, okay.
They only have hail video coming, Jess. Is that what's supposed to?
There we go.
Chuck Shaheen sent this one in right here. You can see the hail coming down on the porch. We've seen definitely that size and much larger. We've seen 1.5 inches in diameter hailstones with some of these hail cores as they come on down. So once it gets that big, you don't want to be outside in that. That can hurt if it plunks you in the head. So this has been mainly a hail-producing kind of thunderstorm, very tall thunderstorms with big updrafts that are really putting down those big hailstones. And most of what it is now is rain with a lot of lightning. Just the racket continues. It seems relentless and just won't stop. But I want to drive home the fact that we have no warnings. There is no severe weather out there. And we have been going around the horn, scanning, looking for anything that would be rotating. We're in velocity mode. I see nothing that is rotating. So we had talked about this would be a different kind of day, still with some severe weather out there. But the tornado threat so far has not been at all what it was yesterday. Now, the problem still comes in later. We know what we're dealing with now and what we're going to continue to deal with as we go through probably another couple hours, few hours or more. Is trying to figure out and nail down what does it look like later on tonight. And because here's the cold front back here, I don't have it drawn on, but you've seen a blue cold front with the little arrows on it. So this is it, and this lines up with the new tornado watch, which was going in for northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, Tennessee. The severe thunderstorm watch down here into Alabama. These storms have been firing along that front, and there is some wind shear along through there. Now, we don't see any tornado warnings at this point back there, but it's always important to kind of we'll always look into Alabama to kind of get an idea of what could maybe be coming here. So far, this is just kind of normal thunderstorms developing along there, and I haven't seen anything different than that. The environment still somewhat primed maybe for some storms that could go a little bit on the strong side in northwest Georgia. Generally, what we're seeing is everything kind of bunching together here, which is what the graph model has been picking up on, is that everything would kind of gel and sort of coalesce here and then eventually maybe swing down toward the east-southeast. What do you have, rainfall totals over there?
Yeah, Ben, the other thing that I think we need to start hitting on a little harder is the potential flooding threat we have from this. Already, we've picked up over 2 inches of rain in several spots, and we have several hours to go of heavy rain across central Georgia. This on top of what we got yesterday. Several totals yesterday of 2, 3, 4 inches of rain across central Georgia. So when all is said and done, we could be talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 inches of rain total in isolated locations across the area. This is the past 12 hours. This doesn't include yesterday. If I flip this over to yesterday and I say, actually, if I could just go the past 5 days, we are easily already over 4 inches, parts of Bibb, Monroe, Crawford County, maybe a little bit less down to the south. But we are looking at very saturated grounds now. That means any winds that we see today, that makes it easier for any kind of tree to topple when the ground is saturated and it doesn't have a whole lot holding on to it. So again, like Ben was showing you, no active warnings right now, but instead we have training rain over the area. Places like Crawford County going to be seeing some heavier stuff coming in. Bibb County covered up in almost entirely heavy rain, and then some heavier stuff up to the north as well. Let's check in on some of the models. Ben, we checked in with the Weather Service just a minute ago to see what their thinking was tonight. This is the graph as we head into the evening tonight. Notice how it's trying to clear us out. However, the National Weather Service pointing out that the environment to the north of us becoming, quote, more favorable in the sense that it would be favorable for storm development. So we really just need to see what we have going on by about 10, 11 o'clock, and then that will tell us what's going to be happening into the overnight hours. Ben, all of that to say, stick with us because we have a lot to figure out as we head into the hours ahead, as this is going to be a lot of nowcasting and looking at what's on the radar image and see what's coming down the pipe based off that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We still don't know how this is going to finish out as we go through tonight. So many storms still to go, many storms firing, lots of lightning, thousands of strikes. The hail has come down in intensity, but you may have some gusty winds at times. So what you see is what you get for a little while, and we're going to continue to kind of watch these southern counties that have been clearing out, see if anything redevelops down there. We are seeing some of that toward the south and west coming up toward Lee County, Sumter County. So we'll see. Sometimes in environments like this, it's still daylight, still daytime. We still have the heat and instability out there, so this may start to fill back in with some more storms again. But all of this is what's going to keep on coming. So the sound you hear out there now, you're just going to continue to hear that for a while. So throw in some headphones, turn on some music, guys. Going over to you.
Still very powerful. All right, continuing our Central Georgia storm coverage. I believe we have some more pictures we're going to show you. This is downtown Cordele. Whitney Green sent us this one right here. From South Bibb County. It was around 3:45 showing, and that was as the severe thunderstorm rolled towards Bibb County. You can see that vivid image there.
Okay, now this is off of Russell Parkway in Warner Robins. Matthew sent this in. This is a big old piece of hail, and we've been seeing a lot of that. There's some more hail pictures right there in Warner Robins. This is from Russell Elementary, so we're seeing a lot of that out there. And some more hail in Warner Robins behind the hospital. Almost looks a little bit like snow.
No, one thing we haven't seen. This is near Centerville today, and you can see those ominous clouds out there as the strong weather rolled through. And this went over a house in Forsyth with a big gust of wind. And that's pretty scary indeed, I would say so. And we want to take a moment to remind you, safely text us videos like you just saw, or photos, 752-1309. That's 478-752-1309. You can upload them through the Near Me feature. That's on our app.
Of course, we have continuing coverage of damage reports from yesterday's storms. Part of Highway 96 in Twiggs County remain closed right now from storm damage.
Yeah, Tuesday winds downed hundreds of trees and damaged dozens of homes. Crews were at work this morning clearing debris off the road between the Academy Sports Distribution Center and the city of Jeffersonville. Twiggs County Sheriff Darren Mitchum says he believes a tornado caused that mess.
Yesterday afternoon between 3:30 and 4 o'clock roughly, we had a tornado that passed through this section of the county. Tracked across I-16, across this portion of 96, which it destroyed pretty much about, I'm going to say roughly about a half a mile of this portion of Highway 96, and took a right and went over toward Highway 80 just outside of Jeffersonville, where we had a couple of homes over there that was damaged as well.
Now, power was restored to the neighborhood along Highway 96 this morning. The sheriff says Highway 96 has been reopened. And now that more storms have hit, you may be wondering what to do next. We have some tips.
And be careful leaving your shelter and going back outside, especially as darkness begins to come. Definitely don't want to be going anywhere right now. When you are outside, once things calm down, wear safety gear when walking or working through debris.
You want to pay close attention for downed power lines and other dangerous debris. And document any damage you come across and contact your insurance agent as soon as possible. If you make any repairs yourself, keep those receipts. We're back after this.
All right, recapping as we continue to cover a second day of strong weather. Governor Kemp declaring a state of emergency based on what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing right now.
Now, this is aerial footage of Bryan County, where County Coroner Bill Cox confirmed at least one person died in Pembroke as a result of yesterday's storm. Today, the governor toured Bryan County and he talked with folks.
You know, this storm, from what we're seeing and now learning, is what we fear the most. It was a pop-up you know, devastating tornado. The only good thing that happened last night is it didn't stay on the ground. It went up and down, bouncing, if you will. So we're blessed that it wasn't a prolonged on the ground event, but where it did hit, it is complete devastation.
Matthew Kenta, a county government spokesperson, said several other people were also hurt in the county 30 miles west of Savannah.
Meanwhile, closer to home, Macon-Bibb Mayor Lester Miller declared a state of emergency right here in Macon-Bibb. The National Weather Service has also confirmed an EF3 tornado went through Houston County Tuesday afternoon.
Obviously, the intensity of the storm varied along the path, and we're trying to figure out the path, first of all. It was a tornado, and so we're looking at some of the damage in here. We're going to look at some of the damage on Hawkinsville Road and some of the areas in between here and there, and try and come up with a wind estimate of what this tornado was.
Now, they say the path went through just south of Robins Air Force Base in the Statham Landing subdivision. National Weather Service crews conducted limited surveys this morning. More surveys are expected to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, but again, an EF3, Ben, I mean, that is pretty strong stuff we're talking about there.
You're midway up on the scale with that. And of course, they haven't been able to come back down and look at the stuff that was in the Macon area. I mean, we've seen stuff in that came out of Bleckley into Dodge into Lawrence, debris ball there. So there's still a lot of stuff they have to look at, and that'll start tomorrow. Obviously, they can't get out there right now. This Skycam shot over downtown Macon kind of tells the story. Just rain on top of rain. I've been seeing videos and pictures people have been sending in of just flooding in their yards. And I want to show you this, though, because this kind of helps tell the story. Remember, Alex and I have been trying to figure out how this is going to go later tonight. Now, this is all rain-cooled air. This is important. The front is still back here, and there's still talk in the Birmingham office, Atlanta office about storms firing here. It's still it was just 82 just a moment, 81 in Rome. So these are places that are untouched. So they may get storms along that frontal boundary as we go through the next couple of hours. The question is, what does it do when it gets here? And generally, more times than not, once you work that atmosphere over, and even when a cold front comes in, you're generally not going to have very much activity if it stays like it is. Now, if it were to stop completely right now and the sun came out and we still had another couple hours of sunshine to warm things back up, it'd be a different story. So we're going to have to watch it just literally minute by minute to see how this is going. You can see a lot of rain-cooled air. I don't even see 80 on the board anymore, but I do see some upper 70s still. The dew points are disgusting. That's just where the muggy stuff is. You're seeing the dark green, 70 plus. It's a summertime kind of number out there. And the feels like number is down, but we saw upper 80s to 90 degrees. It's like summertime numbers a little bit earlier. Now you can kind of see sort of what the graph was showing earlier, all this stuff trying to bunch together right here, and then the idea is to kind of drag it down like this. So you can see we still have a long way to go to get all this stuff through here. I think flash flooding is going to be an issue in some spots. If you don't have to be out driving tonight, don't. Just not a good idea. Just way too much water, and there's still more to come. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a little bit. We're going to take just a few minute break, and then we're going to kick in to our 6 o'clock show. It just keeps going, folks. Stick around after this.